teaching in secondary school because we cannot find this application or application elsewhere. So we are seeing these needs in all aspects of our discipline that we are raising students from. So people are raised from investing to be able to solve the problem, not to become a liability. Now, but when we have seen it over the years that people finish from investing and they still go back home, they are being fed. I mean, somebody finish, you cannot even nothing to write home about the certificate. So we began to have this body, especially from my own side of mathematics. Right from the time I finished my PhD, I felt that my maths should go beyond just doing just academic exercise. I want to confront my mathematics with what goes on around my community, starting from Nigeria. And that made me to go out. I went out of my way. Nobody gave me money. Nobody was driving that in me, or something was driving into me. I went to Abuja. I went to confront the NCC director. I went to confront the NMH director that I saw their problem. And then I asked them for data. I said, give me data. And then I keep on asking, I keep on questioning. I wrote data. Then before to do mention to so data session, I'm going to use to answer the question master to get the luggage again. I wrote the proposal for Swiss government. I got the grants, Swiss, I started to solve the problem. And then while finishing, some set of a particular person from Gila and saw some of my presentation. And the big interest that we can find someone in Nigeria who can do this for us. So and then from there, I began to see that now I can transfer this into many lives. We can make it possible in Nigeria. And then I look up for more grants so that I can be able to sell some young Nigerians to be able to solve problems. So at the end of the day, we got the grants. And instead of students going out of the country, I made them to sit here, being paid to salary, so that they can be refreshed to do the work in Nigeria. At the end of the day, a lot of them finishing this year, they are PhD, masters, and some are graduate internship. They are also going to. A lot of them have been translated from one glory to another. We cannot begin to mention, but as time goes on, in this meeting, you will see some of the things that God has helped us to do. So
you see anything like the right eye?
We are still interested in
you see anything like that, the right eye.
Now, part of what we also saw was that apart from the gods for that, we solicited for grants from International Mathematical Union, and we got it for this particular conference. We can apply for International Mathematical Union. We got a grant to sponsor this conference, apart from the Bill and Melinda Gates grant we got. So we began to explore how do we help people. The main thing is about helping people. It's not about personal pocket or anything. Everything we have done is for people. It's not for personal gain. Because primarily, if I have to keep the money in my hand, then we'll not be here anyway. So but the most important thing is that we want to see a nation that it will not just be a dumping ground. We want to see a nation where we can say that Nigerians can do this. We are already seeing it because people are coming from some part of the world to come and learn modeling in Oye Ekiti here. Yes, in Oye Ekiti here, people are coming from other parts of the world. In Oye Ekiti, that looks very remote. They are coming to come and learn modeling. And we have just started. So what we intend to do is that to begin to confront mathematics problems. After this, we want to practicalize what we are doing. We got a job from industry. The job is still ongoing now to do some certain work for them to solve problems. So for me, I don't see any limitation. What I see is that how do we solve this problem? When I see a problem, I don't see it as a limitation. And the way out is that we should begin to use math. Math is so resourceful. It's so resourceful for us
It's
in
nice.
this generation. There are so many things that
0518.
are in our Facebook there that we are not using.
4 to 4 is
And a lot of us need to rise up, especially after this conference, we are believing that many of us will be highly infected
4
by what you'll be hearing from this conference, so that when you go there, you will go and confront maths with biology, confront maths with medicine, confront maths with pharmaceutical issues, confront maths with public health issues, confront maths with engineering, confront maths with insurance, confront maths with everything. Now, we are in the days of data, and you see that when you remove maths from data science, remove maths from machine learning, remove maths from identity, crash. So anything you are doing in this 21st century that you don't put mathematics, you are not starting. Everything is very quantitative. And we have known that the business now is no longer hard, it's data. So there's no way you want to do anything now that if you don't go quantitative, then you are going to survive. Every platform, people are collecting data. Go to Twitter, go view everywhere. If you collect it. I'm not available for. People want to know what will happen in the next few years about their business. Whether the business will crash, the risks around it, and all of that. So we are seeing that we need to rise up. I'm not even for mathematics. I have some things to from pastology. For you to know the kind of mind we have. We have a mind beyond mathematics. That we want to bring people in medicine to come and do modeling and be solving problems in medicine. We want to bring people in geophysics to come and do modeling and be solving problems in geophysics. We have students, masters, and PhD who are from pastology, who are bringing down solving malaria problem and confirming. You see that the kind of problem they are solving, they are not problem from maybe just communication. They are problem from NMP. And by the grace of God, 2 years ago, our center has been given and certified as a national malaria modeling consultant for National Malaria Elimination Program. Let's give Jesus the clap for that. Now, so it's something that we are deliberate about. We are intentional and we are deliberate about. It's a force and that cannot be hindered or moved away. Now, not only that, you see, what we are also doing is that some of the problem we get it from National Malaria operational agenda. So they have research that they want to do, and they confront us. Can you do this modeling? And then we said, yes, it's possible. And they are seeing the result now. Every last week of every month, there's a group of surveillance, monitoring, and evaluation that we present our work to. So some of the work we are doing is not just to be kept in the shed. Some of them, if you look at the next NMSP that is going to be produced this year, our work is going to feature there. That's National Malaria Strategic Plan. They called us and said, what are the things you have brought in? Can you send us to us? And then we send it to them and the verification. So the interest now is that NMTA should be able to confront the industry with problems. So we are checking that will be able to, they don't need any training again. After they finish here, they can easily enter into any system and begin to work there. So the interest behind applied mathematics and industrial is the need to see how can industry benefit from the academia. How can academia benefit from the industry? There should be a synergy. And that's the interest behind this meeting. I want to welcome every one of you, and I want to provoke you that mathematics is beyond the YPS. It's beyond writing inside paper. It's solving problem in the financial system, solving problem in health system, solving problem in the oil industry, solving problem in different spheres of life. So we need to rise up now. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Welcome. At least I thought that it was just a stage into but of course, the program is
Before I go to the effect,
so much. So the conference is acting on a very passionately starting. And I hope that we are here to be able to receive everything and get that full thing. Stage of this room. Now, while that talk was doing, I notified the presence of the HOD of data science and analytics in FOIN the person of Dr. Daramola. Please praise Dr. Daramola. Thank you. It's great to have the table. Thank you so much. You also see that we have been very deliberate about the people on the high table. These are people that are from different departments in Federal University. Different departments in faculty of physical science, faculty of life science, and faculty of computing. So, which I know that these are all different areas our minds go into. And apart from that, people from the industry as well. I've introduced the other time Mr. Tope Adini, who is ably represented by Mr. Odoayo Rotini. Mr. Odoayo, you are welcome, sir. We are happy to have you. Now we are going to be some little messages from our invited guests, the HODs, and then our people from the industry that we have notified already that they are going to give us goodwill message. So I want to start right from the HOD of AUB, who is going to give us his goodwill message. Please welcome with me Dr. Obe Ajadi to give us a goodwill message. The Vice Chancellor, the Director in Kanga, Professor E.A. Bakari, distinguished guest speakers, fellow HODs, distinguished lecturers, students, ladies, and gentlemen. It is indeed a privilege to stand before you on behalf of Animal and Environmental Biology. I actually congratulate Professor P.A. Bakari and the entire Ikanga team for convening this international conference on advances in industry and applied mathematics 2026. In today's data anymore, just like the director said, mathematics is a universal language that connects all other disciplines together. In modern ecosystem changes, analyzing population dynamics, or even predicting environmental impacts, we rely largely on the precise tools of mathematics models and data analytics. This conference is timely as we face complex challenges in our environment and health sector across the world, Africa, Nigeria in particular. We'll be talking about malaria, which the director has spoken about. The bridge between pure science and applied mathematics must become stronger, has become so stronger, and I look forward to seeing how the innovation discussed here can be applied to solve real world biological and environmental problems. The theme for this conference speak directly into the future, a future where industry and academia must collaborate to drive the innovation. To the visiting researcher, industry experts, I welcome you all to AKT and to FOI. To the organizers, well done on your hard work. I am confident that the knowledge exchange here will not only advance the field of mathematics, but also will ripple out to benefit other scientific field. I wish you a high impactful ceremony and cables the FOI. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Beautiful great message. And one of the things that you want to pick away from that is the acknowledgement of mathematics really in delving into different areas of life which he has actually talked about. I'm happy that AEB is also a department that we strongly collaborate with in this university. And so thank you so much for the cooperation all the time. We are really happy. Now I'm going to also introduce somebody. When you see a professor who decided to, apply for a conference like this, or not just a professor, you want to learn that as sometimes some people think that once you become a professor, that's all. Or when you see a professor, dealing with energy and doing everywhere to stay. Oh, I want to apply. I'm not just a main person, but now I'm talking about the HOD of mathematics all the way from the Unilag. They said University of course. First choice. All right, please welcome with me. And he wants to say something quickly before I brief the other people through the message. All right, thank you. Prof, just to give us the moment.
No proposal will be difficult.
Everybody, I will not waste time. When I heard about this program, the first thing I did just to go in science. When I reached that science, the achievements, all what you have achieved. Since you started without registration fees or asking the party transfer to pay everything. So I decided as the head of the department to support my people over here that at least 6 was attend this conference this year. And I had to call myself to because they said learning is a continuous process. I mean, okay. So I have to go and see the things myself. Because this program, we have been mentoring, training, even most of the people that I know, when I came this morning, then I met one of my people from Dr. Ajayi, who is the architect. So, and I got from some
auto caption. It's not aligning with what I'm saying.
Because I made in Florida. So what I want to say is to appreciate your efforts. May God continue to support you, because I can see that when I read that even you are supporting PhD training, you are supporting the IU, make effort to bring the graduates from any part of the world. And if I get one of my former students there, that will PhD, this is staff of a year battle. So I want to on that note. But one thing that made me, I was coming because I want to stay in week long. I look at the gas and even what they call it. So I want to, but on my website, the interviews that for the department, for the new staff that's supposed to take place next week, they just this called me that department of statistics will take place 9 a.m. tomorrow. And it's supposed to take place 9 a.m. on Wednesday. So I want to apologize for not being able to stay.
In the next one,
we don't continue
oh,
to
yes,
and prosper this association. God bless you.
Thank you so much, Prof. And that's a heart that really appreciates progress. Prof was just gently sitting down there. And then I saw that it will not be the whole night call this one. Thank you so much. We really appreciate that encouragement. Now, I would like to go to the next person who will be giving us a good message. I think at the forum yesterday, I was saying that here in the way we are already putting up a platform where we want to tackle all kinds of problems. And I do wish that this platform really becomes a platform where we raise people that can tackle those problems. One of such platforms is the aspect of cyber security. So I said criminals are in soup in this country for what is going to happen from 4 years. So please join me to welcome our dear HOD, cyber security, Dr. S.A. Mokachi. I think this is the great message.
Good morning. Question 7. University management, distinguished scholars, distinguished colleagues, honor guests, ladies and gentlemen, and honorable continue observed. It is with immense joy and profound honor that I stand before you today to deliver this message at the opening ceremony of the International Conference on Advances in Industrial Informatics 2006. On behalf of the Department of Cybersecurity, Federal University, Oye, I send my warm greetings and heartfelt commendation to the organizer, participants, and partners who has made this possible. And I want to commend the effort of our director, Professor Ike Abolabi Bakari, for bringing up this issue. This conference presents a remarkable milestone in pursuit of knowledge, innovation, and collaboration. It is not mere a meeting, but a convergence of discipline where mathematics, science, and technology intersect to address some of our pressing challenges of our time. The theme and objectives of this conference are both timely and visionary, by bringing together researchers, professionals to discuss recent development in theoretical, industrial, and applied mathematics. We are creating a platform for exchange of knowledge that transcends boundaries. Mathematics has always been the language, the foundation upon which discovery are built, and the tool through which solutions are crafted. Today, it is relevant to extend beyond the abstract theory into practical application that touches life, industry, and society. At the head of the Department of Cybersecurity, I am especially immersed and inspired by the interdisciplinary nature of these initiatives. Cybersecurity, like other applied mathematics, strive on innovation, precision, problem solving, and other efforts that brings criminality into its minimum. Both fields demand rigorous analysis, creative thinking, and collaborative efforts. The integration of mathematics modeling into public health challenges, and it demonstrates the transformative power of disciplinary and collaboration, not just as cybersecurity safeguard the digital infrastructure. Mathematics modeling also safeguard human health by predicting diseases pattern, optimizing intervention, and guiding policy decision. Permit me to say that this conference is not only about mathematics, but also build bridges between disciplines that connect theory of academics to practice, academics to industry, sciences to society. It is about fostering a culture of shared responsibility and collaborative progress. I want to say this to commend the International Center for Applied Mathematics Modeling and Data Analytics, a founder of Federal University, Oye, under the leadership of Professor E.A. Bakari, for this great vision, dedication, leadership in organizing this conference. Your effort exemplified the spirit of excellence and innovation that our university, Federal University Oye, is made of. I also want to salute our Vice Chancellor, Professor Abayomi Sunday Fashina, and all his vice chancellors for this great occasion. Over our Pacific part, I want to encourage us to see this opportunity to learn, share, and collaborate. Let this conference be a catalyst for new ideas, groundbreaking research, and impactful solution. With the decision and the discussion that will be done here will resonate far beyond the four walls of university and will influence policies, shaping practices, and improving lives. On behalf of my department, cybersecurity, I want to extend my goodwill and best wishes for a successful and fruitful conference. May this gathering inspire us to continue striving for knowledge, innovation, and service to humanity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. We are happy to have that goodwill message and then a sign that indeed we are together in spirit of making progress in this nation. Also, now we want to have another goodwill message from the HOD of Data Science and Analytics, Federal University of Ekiti, from the person of Dr. Dara. This very briefly, I think,
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, Vice Chancellor, the management, the convener of this notable program, and all protocol duly observed. A goodwill message coming from the Department of Data Science and Analytics to the International Center for Applied Mathematical Modeling and Data Analytics on the occasion of the International Conference on Advances in Industrial and Applied Mathematics. It is my pleasure on behalf of the Department of Data Science and Analytics of this university, Federal University Oye Ekiti, popularly known as FUOY, to convey our goodwill and scholarly commendation to the International Center for Applied Mathematical Modeling and Data Analytics on the occasion of the International Conference on Advances in Industrial and Applied Mathematics. We congratulate the Center on the successful conceptualization and organization of these important academic events. This conference is both timely and significant as it brings together researchers, academics, and industry professionals from across the globe to engage in robust discourse and the rigorous examination of contemporary developments in theoretical, industrial, and applied mathematics. By conveying intellectuals, researchers, experts, and industry practitioners from diverse disciplinary and geographical backgrounds, the conference provides a structured platform for critical inquiry, interdisciplinary dialogue, and a system exchange of ideas at the intersection of mathematics, science, technology, and industry. Such engagement is essential for advancing theoretical understanding as well as practical problem solving in an increasingly complex and interconnected world. We align strongly with the stated objectives of the conference, particularly the promotion of high-quality research, the strengthening of the interface between mathematical theory and industrial application, and the fostering of a cultural of genuine collaboration between academia and industry, all of which are strategically significant. In an era characterized by data-driven decision-making, complex modeling, and rapid computational innovation, applied industrial mathematics continue to serve as foundational pillars for progress in data science, analytics, engineering, economics, and the natural sciences. Initiatives such as this conference play a crucial role in ensuring that mathematical research remains responsive to real-world challenges while upholding the highest standards of scholarly rigor. Furthermore, the conference emphasizes on enhancing networking and collaborative opportunities among mathematicians and researchers within Africa and across the wider international community is highly commendable. It is beyond gainsaying that such engagement is vital for strengthening research capacity, encouraging cross-border collaboration, and applying Africa's contribution to global scientific knowledge and innovation. By fostering inclusive scholarly networks, the conference contributes meaningfully to the development of sustainable research ecosystem and the nurturing of emerging scholars. As a department whose discipline draws extensively from applied and industrial mathematics, we recognize the immense value of this conference in deepening synergy between mathematics, data science, and analytics. We are confident that the deliberation, presentations, and professional interactions facilitated during this conference will stimulate new research directions, inspired innovative applications, and lead to enduring academic and industry partnership. Once again, we congratulate the International Center for Applied Mathematical Modeling and Data Analytics on this notable milestone and wish the conference every success. Thank you.
I thank you, we are really happy to get that also from data science. Now, let me, the Vice Chancellor will be here shortly. He has indicated that he will soon be here. I think the director has, that's why the director has to excuse himself to also be with him. So please, we continue the program. As soon as the Vice Chancellor comes in, there are a few things we're doing along. So, but then, whatever we are doing, because of this week is convocation week, and that's also another program is also going on with Grow and see each other. So when it comes, we may want to give it for the space so that we continue with whatever we are doing. As soon as it's done, we can allow him to go on time. But then we continue for now what we are doing. So now I also want to bring a goodwill message from the HOD Plant Science and Biotechnology, the person of Dr. Komalafe and ably represented by Dr. Chukwu. Please put your hands together so you can shake it.
Anything to stand ex-
Da kuɗin kifa ɗin nan sa bawa gara ka cika ka sai waya ba? Kifar bai ka sa 10,000 za ka siya. To.
eyes to see the world of research and what I can actually impact my society just by going into research. I get to know that, some of the decisions that even affect me as a doctor, this is where they come out from.
So this code is actually providing a kind of advocacy that things should not be done the way it used to be. If what is required is provided, I tell you, the Western world will have to depend on us.
So with this in mind, we have the mission to train as much as possible young people from different spheres of life, whether in mathematics, in computer science, in social science, in arts, in various aspects, in a multidisciplinary approach to be able to use mathematics that is relevant to their discipline.
I thought I knew how this is correctly. I was still a beginner in time series. I have improved a lot in time series, and I have improved a lot in mathematics more than I knew. I know that after this ICAMDA, I'm going to go very fast in my PhD study.
Non, je dirais l'excuse de l'organisateur. Je dirais qu'ils ont bien accueilli. C'est bien une chance de pouvoir prendre tout ce nombre de personnes. Je dirais merci d'avoir à la formation des lycées de favoriser cette capacité de discuter avec des personnes pour créer son propre réseau de connaissances. C'est déjà une chance.
Can you tell if this was made by AI? AI generated content detector.
This is our Research and Innovation Center of Excellence. So what is PRIZE all about? PRIZE is actually a vision to transform Africa and the world beyond into a place where Christ is at the center of innovation, technology, and advancements, where we have young people that are instruments and agents of change that will indeed elevate the society to new heights.
We want to raise people who are intellectually sound, cognitively. We want to raise people who have skills, who have skill hands, psychomotively. But then we know that there's a gap between hand and head. It's the heart. So we felt that we are best positioned to begin to address the heart of the issues by dealing with the heart of men. So when people come here, our first concern is their heart. That's why we engage them in discipleship, we engage them with the word of God, we expose them to the new Christian life. Because we know the problem of Nigeria is Nigerian.
And so our mission is gathered around that to train, equip, instruct, disciple with cutting-edge technology, young people in various fields of engineering and sciences to become those instruments of change that would actually cause disruptive progress in health, agriculture, education, energy, and all other areas of human endeavor.
It has opened our eyes that Nigeria can be one people. There will be no sentiment, there will be no ethnicity, there will be no any religious bias. People will be thinking towards providing solutions to their problems.
It's beyond the normal tradition of workshops and conferences. It's one of its kind in the country. Never seen this type before, where people could gather and then share up might be free with one another, share ideas really and freely. If not for responsibility, I would have paid more. We are being fed. It would have that. I mean, and the food, the quality, the nutrition, the way they prepare the food is intentional. Is it the spiritual I want to talk about? Or want to know the academic life here?
We're needing researchers who are going to serious research in order to bring answers. And they're not depending on whether I will be promoted, I will not be promoted. What we promote then is the result that we are looking for. Two are better than one. They obtain a better result for their labors, the Bible says, and it's true.
The beautiful thing about the Ikanga Prize collaboration is that with our goals and aims, we see an intersection in the area of being able to use mathematics applied to engineering, mathematics applied to robotics, mathematics relevant to artificial intelligence, machine learning, and data science and analytics. That makes it possible to achieve a lot together, given our strengths in the sciences, in the application of technology and engineering, and their strength in terms of data analytics, mathematical modeling, and all that.
We saw need, since we are having the same objectives and doing basically the same research work, seeking to bring innovation and bring the products that will change our society, and in the midst of it, impacting the coming generation.
We know that embedded in science, in every aspect of science today in the 21st century, is that ability to use maths to answer questions and provide solutions.
I'm going up now with a different idea, different perspective, with a different mindset that I can use my maths to solve real problems. I learned so much from the sport that actually was my health. When I came here, it was my leg. When I came here and I started to exercise, I actually felt that I had to stop my drugs. And I'm fit.
Les programmes se déroulent de façon très bien, avec l'emploi des temps bien respecté. C'est vraiment quelque chose à mettre. C'est tout l'honneur, tout le bien au comité d'organisation qui est assez bienveillant sur ces aspects.
Can't trust your AI results. Let William sift through 170.
Nigeria is at the threshold of a global manifestation, and we're happy that this is beginning here at the local level.
To say a very big thank you to Peace House for accommodating us and for making sure that we have everything that we need, from food to bed spread to water, data, and everything. I want to say a very big thank you to them, and I want to tell them to continue with the good job that they're doing. Wow. Ikanga, you have done great. You have done beautifully well. We are indeed grateful for this sacrifice, the great sacrifice you have placed here. Because some people have gotten such grants and they are just for their own personal consumption. But Professor Bakari is one man standing, one out different, as one man different for others. He has actually proved himself to be a child of God that has a large pathway to help others become what he is.
The time we have spent with Ikanga, both at the planning level and at the execution level, have been very, very great. And I have been wanting to encourage them. First and foremost, I've encouraged the director of Ikanga to see this as a call, as a divine call, not just as a job. That what he's doing, he must continue to do it first as unto the Lord, so that the motivation with which he is working must come away from the external extrinsic motivation into something that is bubbling in his own heart, in his own spirit. And he must also engage, the principles of discipleship, academic discipleship, raising people that we can leave behind. So I'm already seeing it done. So I'm encouraging them more. As they take more students, more PhD students, more postdoctoral staff, who wants to just have an experience. I'm encouraging them to do that one.
Thank you so much, India, for that. Showing us that trainer. Okay, so it's getting better, we believe, by God's grace. And now, we want to get the first keynote speech for the day. As I mentioned earlier, it was already is the representative of Mr. Tope, and then who is the Chief Executive Officer of AZA, Ansad Nigeria. Okay, maybe when it comes in, better about that. Represented by Mr. Ojomaye Rotimi. Now, I will join me to welcome Mr. Ojomaye Rotimi while he takes his stand here, and then we are going to read the citation of Mr. Tope Adeniyi, and to do that is one of our scholars, Mr. Samson Olagan. Please welcome Mr. Samson Olagan.
Good morning, everyone. All right. Mr. Tope Adeniyi, Group Chief Executive Officer, Ansad Masad Nigeria. So he's a visionary business leader with over 25 years of cross-industry experience spanning ICT, manufacturing, financial services, and health care. His career reflects a consistent record of using technology as a catalyst for business transformation, operational excellence, and economic development. He began his career as a software and training manager as management support system, establishing a strong technical foundation. He later gained financial industry exposure at Capital Express Insurance before expanding into large-scale business operation and UACN, where as national planner, that is the planning manager, he optimized supply chain performance and contributed to the evolution of Nigerian retail sector. Tope's impact deepened in the insurance industry during his tenure as Divisional Director of Operation and Technology at Ansad Masad Insurance PLC. There, he architecture and integrated service delivery infrastructure that modernized operation across the entire value chain. His industry shaping influence extended beyond Ansad Masad, where he led the development of the Nigerian Insurance Industry Database, NIID, for Nigerian Insurance Association, a landmark initiative that enhanced insurance penetration, caught fraud, and strengthened the national financial system. He later became the managing director of Ansad Masad Health, where he built the health business from inception into West Africa's largest health insurance organization. Under his leadership, the company became known for pioneering digital and data-driven health solutions that improve access, affordability, and service quality in emerging markets. Today, Tope serves Group Chief Executive Officer at Ansad Nigeria, where he leads the 5 companies of Ansad Life, P&C Health, Investment, and One Health in the company's client strategy, experience, and engagement at all business lines. In this role, he continued to integrate technology, savvy excellence, and customer insights to deepen trust, strengthen market leadership, and deliver superior value to millions of customers. A recognized thought leader in health economics and universal health coverage, Mr. Tope advised government, development partners, and private institutions on building financial sustainable health care system. His expertise at the intersection of business strategy, technology, and implementation and inclusion economic development has made him a prominent voice in advancing healthcare and financial access across developing nations. Can we please uprising as we receive the representative of Mr. Tope Adeniyi? Let's put our hands together.
Good morning, everyone. You can take your seat. I hope that standing ovation was for Mr. Topper, because I'm not man enough to receive it, so I deliver it to him on your behalf. Thank you. So, a brief overview about me. Sorry. Odunayo Rotimi, BSc Actuarial Science, Redeemers University, MSc Financial Mathematics from Ulm, Germany. My career progression has been about data analysis, data. So I was served as the customer valuation lifecycle management in one of the companies during my career path. Currently, I manage the AI, BI, data and business data department of my organization.
It's not coming.
Thank you. So, pardon that. I'll do better next time. So, my current scope, basically, I use data to inform decision. One thing anybody will do that will hurt business this day is to make decision out of intuition or emotions. You always land in a pit, and your competitors will chiefly take advantage of that, because information is the most prized asset in this generation. So, I do some multiple FX currency modeling. I lead automation. Initiatives. And one thing I've come to discover is that an empire that refuses to expand will decay. So I'm engaged in some volunteering, which is teaching what I know about data analysis. Thank you. That's it about me. Next, what are we here for today? As you know, our convener has already said that the aim and the objective of this gathering is aimed at bridging the gap between the industry and academia, which also was a burden for me while I was in school. I wanted to go the academic way, but I found myself saying that there was this disparity. I'm studying actuarial sciences, you study mathematics, that helps you model insurance. So if I stay in the university or in the academia, there is that divide, and that prompted me to go for a master's degree. But then what we'll be saying today, we'll see from equations to economic impact. I'm sure one thing that is registered in the head of every mathematician is equations. But we'll see beyond that today. We'll see business reality in Nigeria, 3 high impact career paths for us, the skill bridge, since we have recognized the gap, and then we'll see building our career in Nigeria. I'm a fan of you must run abroad to make things. So I was abroad myself, studied there, but I felt my need was more in Nigeria. How do I mean? If I study abroad and stay abroad, I'm just 1 plus the numerous numbers they are. But if I come back here, I am an addition to solving the numerous problems that we have. So permit me, if today I'm not talking about Japa, that's because there's no problem to solve for you abroad. You even compound our problems when you carry your expertise and sit there where you are not needed. So we'll see the future. And because I know there will be 1 or 2 questions, we have a Q&A session. So the business reality. Mathematics isn't about solving equations. It's actually solving problems. Equation is a formal, the problems we solve within the walls of the university is a formalized kind of problem. But when you get to the industry, oh, the problems are multifaceted. And so, one thing, I share one reality with you while I was in Germany. Almost every job application I saw, the requirement was there were two things that were reoccurring. It was mathematics and informatics. I discovered that inside that informatics meant information mathematics. So there was still mathematics inside the informatics, which meant if you will search online for 100 jobs, you are likely to come with applications requiring mathematics 75% of the time. That's because their belief is, as you have solved problem in within the university walls, you can translate that into the business environment. So may I tell you, if you belong to the Fourier mathematics department, that you're on a very solid ground. So every business problem boils down to three things: risk, optimization, and prediction. So some statistics. We have 28 million jobs requiring digital skills by 2030, which means you will not want to do your traditional jobs the way they are being done in 2030, which means even the data analytics that I am majoring on will be a subset of skills you will need by 2030 to perform well on some roles. 28% of all African companies, all fintechs, 28%, that's more than 1/4 of every fintech, financial technology company resides in Nigeria. That tells us one thing: there's a gold mine here of talents and resources. But also note that talents and resources, while we are creating solutions, we also create more problems. And that more problems also demand more expertise. That means this margin will only grow for the financial technology hunger that people have in Nigeria, have for Nigeria. But then it's not limited to that. It follows that mathematicians will be needed for things like cyber security, needed for optimization, needed for assessing risk. 36% of these people, they ranked in the middle of 2024, they ranked in the highest. So let's say venture capitalists, they fund technological companies, yeah? 36% as of 2024 H2, that's May 2024, we ranked 36% of influx of money from abroad to invest in fintechs. That tells you, if you have an idea, there's a future for Nigeria. So let's see insurance and risk management, where mathematics meets protection. As you can see, for the first time, do Nigerians insure? Can I ask you, do you have any insured property? Anybody? Yeah, I have an insured property outside your compulsory car insurance. Yeah, that makes this 1 trillion naira a landmark. This, as of 2023, we hit 1 trillion naira, sorry, of underwritten premiums, which means people on their own come to insure. This also covers health insurance, property insurance, life insurance, but never before has that been. But then there's a problem. Less than 0.5% insurance penetration in Nigeria compared to Kenya, South Africa with 12% and Kenya with 2.8%. And note that we are far larger than Kenya in population, which means also, if this is grossing 1 trillion naira, and that we have not even scratched the surface, that tells you, you can plan your life for the next 10 years, 20 years in this industry and you'll not be mistaken. So the opportunity is this: if you invest, the the returns, the potential returns in the insurance industry is 1 to 20. That's if you put in 1 naira, you're likely to get 20 naira. But don't forget, don't blame me when you lose also 20 naira, because either must gain shall also be prepared to lose. Thank you. So the invisible mathematics of insurance. This they call actuarial science. It's just the name, but this is what they do. They do premium pricing. Premium is how much you pay for what you want me to cover for you. How much you we charge. There's a disbalance between pricing profitable to compete and making sure that you don't hurt yourself in the leg also. That's the question is, how much should I charge? That's where probability theories and mortality analysis comes in. Claims prediction and fraud. Imagine that you have 10 claims from same mechanic for similar customers coming from the same location. Would that not raise suspicion in you? Yes. The problem is, yes, when these claims are, when they occur like 10 times a month, then you are smart enough to hold them. But when they are occurring in their hundreds per week, then you know you need sophisticated algorithms to track all of this. This disaster risk modeling. You can see 1,200 deaths. I think in 2024, 1.2 million displaced and 31 states affected. Lastly, portfolio optimization. How do we balance risk across every product, across every revenue line? That's a major question because the insurance industry is a highly volatile industry. In a multi-currency operation sphere like I work, what do? I work for a company who has many subsidiaries, and the kind of exchanges they do might differ. One might be here changing Canadian dollar to Nigerian naira. Another might just settle on euros within a treasury. Another might just settle on pounds. In all of this, there's high risk. I mean, you know, Nigeria, the exchange rate today, in a moment from now, can change 3 times before the next 10 minutes. That's the environment business operates in, and they want to make profit. That's where you come in. So let's proceed. Yeah, in Nigeria, as of 2023, you can see that figure, 44.8 billion e-payment transactions. Can I tell you that before now, we have not seen central bank being able to churn out this kind of volume data. Before now, no. How is this possible? Technology came in, and then everything is monitorable because there's a database in which every of the transaction goes. So we're able to monitor. In fact, the current tax is able to plan based on these microfinance banks. Do you know what? They have data they can track. So they can say in XYZ years to come, we can rack in this amount of revenue. That's technology. But then, do you know that that also brings with it problems? Fraud detection, it has to be taken care of. Credit scoring models, transaction optimization. Credit scoring models are simple and broad because they have this kind of integrated data system. But in Nigeria, I don't know if you check online, except LinkedIn, I don't know the information you can get about me. So if you can get little social media imprints of me, how would you get my credit scoring? That is where your own sense of modeling, your own sense of computation comes in. Let's continue. Let me skip this for now. We'll get the part. So, the common thread, please keep this. This is how our lecture will revolve. Optimization, risk, and prediction. That's the 3 things that any industrial problem settles around. Risk, what do I stand to lose if I must gain? Prediction, can I predict under XYZ circumstance? How will my customer behave? And number 3, optimization. Given my constraint, I know many of you are conversant with research, operational research. Yeah, this is where it kicks in. Given my constraint, how do I obtain the best loss function, the best fitting? I'll come there. Okay. Section 2, 3 high impact career paths for you. We have data science, artificial intelligence, and financial mathematics. Now, financial mathematics will cover everything you can do from actuarial science to anywhere. What do data scientists actually do? I know you have your own understanding, and the academia permits me to say what they do in the industry. What do they do? Uncover patterns in different data. I once worked for a payment service bank where each day's data, transaction data, can run up to 400 million data points. Now, with that, how do you manage that? Simple SQL query cannot do this to make sense of what's happening in the organization. And even so, every query you run the data on a database, do you know that there is cloud cost attached to it? Just select star from this table, limit it to 10. That runs some sense. And then when this occurs, there is need for optimization. There is need for payments in foreign currency. So what happens here is, instead of querying the land data, can I study the behavior of our customers over the world and build a model around it so that in the quickest time, my own boss can make his decision instead of waiting for me to query data that will incur cost and waste organization time. Now, they also predict future outcome and prescribe optimal actions. This I call the detective role. Their own is just to detect what's happening. And then the process, they get business question, they analyze the data, they call out insights, and their insights informed business action. Next. The business reality is this. There is a massive demand. No doubt. 234 billion global growth of data analytics as of 2024. Mind you, my data was knowingly limited to 2024 because I'm not sure 2025 statistics have been computed and finished by major data churning bodies around the world. But 2024 is done and dusted, so we can trust it. Now, look at the growth in that sphere. Who are the people that are majorly employed in Nigeria? Flutterwave, Paystack, Kuda, InterSwitch. And with a 0 to 2 years experience, if you get placed in Flutterwave, for example, you get about 350,000 to 500,000 a month. Now, note that the money I mark for this class of people sometimes are not normal budgets, meaning that there is an amount I marked for them majorly. Because if you go operational customer service, 0 to 2 years experience cannot earn up to this, maybe half majorly. So the mathematical foundations you need, I know all of this listed on the board. You must have gone through them. If not gone through them, apply statistics model, machine learning. In real sense, it's not as though you have to know all of this. I think my own challenge while I was in school was to wanting to know everything before I started anything. Please don't make that mistake. It's wanting to know everything before I started anything. But I discovered in the industry, brother, the little you know, if you know how to put it out there very well, there is a need for it, if in the right market. So you don't need to know all of this. As a matter of fact, I'm not talking to the best graduating student. I'm talking to the average person in class. This should be a walk in the park for you because already you know them, you have the background, and the most important thing is knowing when to use what, and we'll get there. Thank you. Next. Yeah, your career projection in 10 years. SQL, Python, R Basic, Power BI, Tableau. I want to think that almost everybody in the department would know how to code. Am I correct? This is a saying no. Some are saying you are correct. Okay. So that's a major prerequisite. But really, every data point is just a collection of vectors and matrices. Hey, if you know vectors and dimensions, every other thing is just normal. So I know people study arts in school and they do data science today. What changed? What changed? Can anybody answer me? What changed? That's because they didn't have the foundation like you are, but they knew the coding you may not know. That's the difference. But just imagine you being a brain box behind a model and knowing how to control the code to get there. That's such a big deal. So, in level 2 data scientists, you need 2 to 5 years to get there. You should be racking up 700K per month. And level 3, when you're getting to this level, you're almost becoming a manager. And then we should be thinking of 1.5 million for you per month. You already know where you work, fintech, banking and retail, telecommunications, and healthcare. This place, there is no much data. And if they are available, they are siloed. One Excel there, one, you don't want to get into that environment to see what they do. But to start with, giving them confidence to operate based on the data you are providing, your model has to be reusable and reproducible. An art student cannot do that. I'm sorry, any art student, please pardon me. An art student cannot reproduce all these kind of models. They can only use them, and that gives you an upper edge in the industry. So, if you would, this slide will be made available for a resource afterwards. If you like to apply that out, this is what you need to do from month 1 to month 12. And I think you should be ready in no time. AI and machine learning, the builder role. Note again, this is how it applies in the industry. Of course, you know, traditional coding entails rules, the code, and the rules. But machine learning says, give me the code, give me the outcome, label all of them. Then once I learn the rules that map the outcome to the input, give me another set of data. And I'll predict to a certain percentage how much this is the answer. Simple. That's how machine learning comes into being. And every other thing is like that. You chat with ChatGPT, behind it is tokens. And what are tokens? Words converted into figures. And these tokens have context. Context means if I say with me and with me, income, the with me that is normal is a different token from with me income because they were assigned different numbers. So that means even behind the English, you know, there's a mathematics you can champion. Why mathematical foundations of AI ML? You see, why a data analyst, an art student can do data analysis. For people to really soar in this particular industry, what do they need? They need real good mathematics. They need real good mathematics. I'll point something across to you. So, as of last year, OpenAI, that's the weather company of ChatGPT, they started hiring. They hired good talents, and they were paying them over $500,000 per year. I said, God, what kind of thing is this? Later, Meta came. He said, I want to go the super intelligence way. I want to make machines that use these models to function. I want to make a glasses that I can tell to do everything for me. I can see the future. And when people were not coming on board, do you know what Mark Zuckerberg began to do? He started hiring for about $1 million per year. And I'm saying, are you sure? If you convert that money to Naira, that's somebody earning 1.5 billion Naira per year. But do you know what those people have in common? PhD mathematics, PhD computer science. Plenty of them. And master's degree with lot of years of experience. That's because they have the understanding and the flexibility to break down the model and rebuild it to fit what they want. So if I were you today, I would go and sit down with ChatGPT again. serving my CV, serving my projects. What do you think I can do? Where do you think I fit? I still do it over and over. When I finish a project, my most intelligent model is Claude AI. And I'm happy to tell you that I pay about $20 per month for it. For number one, it makes my work very simple. Where I am, I can send tax to my team members only by telling it. He knows all I have. He knows my board, my tax board. He knows my Slack where I can send message. He knows all of that. So I just, as I was sitting down, I was able to tell, assign just so tax, this soft tax to this person, tell the person, this is the deadline. Here and there, my guy was with me and it responded and gave me the link that the task has been sent to this person. Under normal circumstances, do you know how many hours that would take me? I'll go to the board, create that, do this, and all of that. So that's what an AI ML person can do. You can customize things to your last usable extent, but then the mathematics must be very, very robust. This is your growth potential. Google AI Lagos was established not quite long ago, I think about 2 years ago. They employ machine learning graduates and all of that. You can think of it. There are many things to solve in Nigeria. I only pray you put your strong foot forward and resolve to stay here. AI, ML, career progression, this is the path you can take. That looks like what you can do within your 7th year. You should be racking in the millions. I'm sorry. We may not be able to afford you $1 million in Nigeria. But then, relatively compared to others, I'll tell you a story. There was a young man. I was leaving my previous role in Smart Cash ASB, a subsidiary of Airtel. And then we were to employ another manager to take up a data analytics role in the company. So we brought on a young boy. I didn't know he was young. We just sent his CV and we're interviewing him. And the only thing I noted about the boy was he was a bit not matured for the role. Not immature to work, but immature for the role. Because as a manager, outside execution, you also need mentoring. But we're not seeing that in him. So I asked him, but in 5 years' time, what would you love to be? The guy said, I would like to serve in a manager's role. And that gave me a nudge that this guy is not yet ready. But when you look at what he has done, my dear friends, he was qualified by all measurement of technicality. How did he start? While in 200 level in school, he has started. He didn't wait like me to know everything before he started anything. He started just as he is. So I can tell you in 1 or 2 years, that guy might manage you when you get to the industry. So let's continue. The re-applications, banking, credit scoring, fraud detection, that's so much. In 2023, we lost about 17.7 billion in the industry. Do you know that if you can have a body that solves this problem and you ask for only 10% of this amount, do you know they will pay you? Let me ask the question again. If you can solve most of this problem, and you say you only charge 10% of this amount to sell your software, do you know you'll be paid? Yes, of course. Because every company that suffers fraud, they suffer a lot. They suffer reputational damage. And in fact, send money through OPay now, and the money does not deliver in 24 hours. What are you likely to do? Yes? What you say? Drag them online. Threaten to quit. And find another fintech. Yes, that's correct. That's because what they suffered for you to move, or why they respond to you online, is they know the effect of that reputation that their name carries. So if you are solving that kind of problem, excuse me, they can create a unit for you. Yes, this is your journey, foundations, machine learning fundamentals, and there are a plethora of resources. Oh my God, so much resources online. So that what I tell my students is, I think the only thing I owe you is just to tell you what to do. If not, if you don't get it right, there's a lot you can learn online. So with this, you can always know where to go. This guy, Andrew NGML, when I started machine learning and all, I started with this guy. He's very nice. Most of his courses are free and very solid. Fast AI for image generation. Those of you who are interested in image, videos, and all of that, I'm a data analyst under normal circumstances. And nothing supposed to concern me with image generation. But last year, we just started one event. It was, I think, MLR. So we had to generate a series of countdown to the event. My brother, I just went to my AI, told it what to do, and it generated for me pictures, countdown every day, real stories and all. I didn't have to do anything. Do you know why? Because I only knew what to plug to work. And but there's a sense, there's somebody behind that. These models were not like that yesterday. Last year, many of these cannot generate human like people. Now they're generating. That means under normal circumstances, one would think, since this technology is advancing and going faster than I can, how do I meet up with it? How do I meet up with it? No, you should rather be saying, this technology has not yet reached its peak because my own contribution has not yet been added to it. That's where you should see it. This is the financial mathematics aspect. You see, there's a difference between the two now that I mentioned, which is data analysis and data science, different from this. This is the guardian role. They are the ones that protect the insurance company, financial institution, FENCOM, NICOM, CBN. All of them are supposed to have actuaries. But can I burst your bubble? There are less than, in fact, there are exactly 28 actuaries in Nigeria. By actuaries, I mean people with sound mathematics mind that knows how to model risk. Certified with either the Canadian or the UK Institute, we only have 28 fellows. And part of that 28, we have 5 associates. And these 28 that I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, plenty of them are old. Yes, if you meet them, you know they are old. Which means in 5 years' time, plenty of them will be of the same. But do you know what? Because you and I are not raising up at their old age, they are still cashing in. The resources me and you were supposed to share, they are cashing in. Because you and I became with their own going around. I tell you, there's a gold mine there. So, what do? They quantify uncertainty. They protect from catastrophic losses. Do you know that? I can't remember the year now. But while I was in school, because I have to do actual science while I was in that was my area of specialization. And they told me one day that somebody bought bad debt. I say, did you say bad luck? I mean, bad debt. Meaning, they almost had written off some debts off the book. And some companies start to up. They said, give us all this your bad debts. It means we have the right to them from today. When they pay back, we collect. And those people, since their company was crumbling and crashing, you want to give us money for buying it. Even if you buy it today, I will pay. You know what was behind that? Sound mathematical modeling of those who had propensity to pay back and know we can track. Very sound. Did they recover everything? No. But they made a fortune. I didn't say they suffered though. Those people that bought that risk, I think it was even mortgage risk, they have bought the bad debt to recover. They made a fortune, not 5 naira. So it all depends. It all depends where you see it. Now, risk is probability times impact. If I have a risk of 90% of losing my tooth, I will not crack the bone. But if it's only a 10% chance, I will rotate it around the one that I know it can't remove. That's what an actuary does, for example. He helps you make calculated decisions. You take calculated risk, not just car and lorry are coming. You just face it with your head. What do they call it? Head-on collision. Who will die first? The car or you? You know that in Jesus' name. So that's it. It's real. In fact, I can tell you more. Sorry. This is because this was my primary field. And I'm taking up a master's degree anyhow in the University of Lagos just to bypass my number of courses I have to write to come back here. So I welcome to join me anyways in University of Lagos. So what the Institute of Actuaries UK did was to sign a memorandum with the University of Lagos. Under normal circumstances, for you to be certified in actuarial science, you need about 7 to 10 years. Yes, that's why I said this old man died profession. But then it doesn't mean, I can tell you, every paper you pass, your company, most companies pay for it. Every paper you pass, you are likely to get promoted. Every paper you pass, even your employer will be scared that you should not go. So he has to do something to make sure your work-life balance is there. That's actuarial science for me. That's because even CBN, I don't think they have one. And it's compulsory. They should have. I tell you a very funny story. So my mentor had an actuary. That's how one company came to carry the man. As they carried the man, they promoted him ×4 and made him an executive director. If you see, you say, no, sir, I can't go there. So he left. That's ×4 promotion. That's how it works. That's because the person is sound. He knows what's behind the model. Now, am I saying it's an easy thing to do? No. Most of the people that drop out from actuarial science are people who had already gotten into insurance. They saw that this actuarial science is nice, let them try it, and plenty of them fail. But you with your background in advanced statistics, calculus, and all of that, hey, one thing I've come to discover is that there's no phenomenon that is happening that cannot be mathematically captured. If not exactly, approximately captured. It will be approximately captured. I don't want to explore what I did in my master's, this thing that I thought was not impossible at start. It only took me some years. Normally, sometimes you can think of mathematics like you wanted to run math. But after you achieve your aim, do you know you become normal, but now super normal. So there's nothing wrong with math. So why this management matters, we have seen it, disaster everywhere. You know, national emergency management. Do you know that we receive our disaster prompts from US and UK? They'll be telling us, it's likely for it to flood in Benue next week. And neighbor boys start going up and down. See, America said it. There's no resident analytics, no database, nothing to show. So it means if they also tell us and they are coming, if they want to use that means to attack Nigeria, they only need to tell us flood is coming tomorrow. And they say all of us to vacate a state. What will happen? You'll bombard us with bombs. If I were a mathematics graduate in NEMA, how would I position myself? Think about that. In national emergency management, is it authority or agency? Agency. So, of course, you know probability, statistics, financial mathematics, risk theory, regression. And by the way, if you think the mathematics we are using is Gaussian model, what are these other models? With their hyperscale and hyperparameterization is enough. We use more simple models. Do you know what? The risk appetite for over mathematicalization is not in the industry. Your sense of a Poisson process, if you master it well, is sufficient to manage claims in a company. Waiting time, the arrival rate, the geometric one, so straight and basic and forward. But then, what is the extra you need on it is the domain expertise. Am I going back to actuarial science? That's because I've tested data, I've worked on data, I've done AI automation, a lot of that, but do you know, I sat down, I look at it. In the next 5 years, where would I be? Highest, a chief data officer. Must it be data? Why can't I sit down to control the functionality of the company? And during the work, my mentor called me up while I was drafting my listing. Have you considered this? And it became like a native environment for me where I started. And that's why I'm going back there. You can't override domain expertise. But then, what would I say? Start penetrate with your technical knowledge of mathematics. When you get there, pursue an MBA. We put you at par with every other person because he in the organization, when we are doing managerial meeting, when an engineer is talking, you always know from the business manager. Because he's always Africa, and I say just straightforward. He doesn't have, but when a business manager is talking, did they manufacture this person's mouth from abroad? See, I just mentioned those words. Sometimes we want to go on the site it yourself and come and see. But those things are necessary when you want to represent a company. So that's where the domain kicks in. So, where these managers work, I've mentioned them, career progression part, the skills bridge. Let's discuss this very fastly. I know my time is fast, but please pardon. Can I go? Thank you. Thank you. So, your first thing, strong mathematical foundation from FUOI, I think is sufficient. I'm so proud to be from the PT and I will have this valuable mathematics department. I'm so happy. And I'm also open to collaborate with the department. Don't let me talk with this a lot. Anytime I will come and learn from you. So you need analytical thinking. Breaking down complex tasks into manageable bits. How that thing works? You know, when we have a requirement from, say, a CEO or a business department, what we do is we sit down, we have our drawing board, we break down this thing. But we have also made mistakes before. That once we get the requirement, we just go into execution. Do you know what happens? Do you know what later happens? We waste the time, we will not achieve anything, and come back to that drawing board we left behind. So this analytical thinking is, in fact, if you do this, speaking analytically, it becomes just like a walk in the park. And let me say something to you. It's not a universal law, but if what you are doing cannot be explained to a secondary school child, then you have not understood the problem. I've not understood it. There's a brain input to that. But once you can explain it to anybody, then you are the master of that thing. Then you'll be able to turn it anywhere, like the heart of the king that is in the hand of the Lord. Turn it to the right, turn it to the left, and that is what is real deal modeling. Now, quantitative skills, working with numbers, that's a working path for you. If not, you'll not be here. I mean, will you be here? Will you be here? No, you already know. Problem solving rigor. It's not every time you approach the problem they want that results will come. How many believe that with me? It's not every day. This smile that I'm smiling, there are still problems waiting for me and I have not solved in my office. So it's not every time, but you need that mental fortitude that if it does not come at my first iteration, I can shoot at it again and get something out of it. Theoretical mathematics, yes. This now speaks to reproducibility. How many of you will own a company? Your subordinate came. He produced this revenue for last year. He gave you the data. He now came today. He said, let's verify your data. Where is the source? He said, I don't know that. How did you get this figure? He said, I saw me together. He said, whose figure is this? I got it from the folder. How will you rate that kind of person? I will be a very good Christian. Not to sack that person almost immediately. Why? His results are not reusable, they are not reproducible. That's why you need this theoretical mathematics. So that when I have finished, I can capture and document. One thing that happens in the industry with many sound people is they do not document. They do not have the time to write down what they have done. Do you know what happens? when they now leave that road, it becomes a problem. You start calling them, you start calling them. Me, I will never allow that to. As you are doing it, in fact, your task is not completed in my team, except it comes with what? The documentation. What you did to get here. But for you, that documentation will be much of this theoretical mathematics. The skills gap, this you will not learn in the university. Me, I can tell you. This, all these ones, you will only touch them. You will not learn much of Python as needed in the industry. So by the way, I started with R because then back in my master's, we were using R, and again, my surname initials is R. So I thought, okay, wrote in me R programming. Yeah, let's continue now. It only took me 1 year that I saw that Python was overtaking JavaScript, was overtaking Java, was R. And I saw that when data scientists were using it to solve real problems, nobody advised me, unless my CV become a dust and a paper. I went for Python. So, Python, that's number one. Python, R, SQL, but the truth is, it's not very hard to cross over from. No. It's just a mindset. Variables, all of that. Data tools, yes, you may not need Tableau, Power BI to present your work to your people. You need that. No, they are more interested in results, trends, results. So you don't need a dashboard, but you will need that in the industry. And then libraries. Of course, many of you know already that most of the machine learning things you're doing, you can do it on your normal computer. Get a computer that will do machine learning on the least speed. Sometimes, as we speak now, you may be needing nothing less than 1.2 million naira. What some people do is to get extra driver and all of that. That's because ML takes a lot of computing power. But places like TensorFlow, Scikit-learn, Google has also made Colab available in such a way that as far as you have a Google account, is anybody here that does not have a Google account? I doubt it. I can help you open one because I will be sure you don't have Android phone. That's right. You don't have that. But then they have such plethora of resources that you can tap into. Version control, yes. Again, this is where reproducibility comes in again. It was very difficult for me to learn this thing. Actually, I just know. They say I should push. They say I should commit. It took me years after that to now say, okay, this is what this thing means. That's because when you write your code, my dear brother, your head is very hot. And it's blowing head hot. All you want to achieve is the result. So the processes at times might gap something. But then, let's imagine that you wrote a code on Tuesday, it achieved something. You tweaked it on Wednesday, you achieved something. But there's a gap. The things it was achieving on Tuesday, it has left it off. It's achieving something new. You see, version control will show you where you stopped on Tuesday compared to where you stopped on Wednesday, and you're able to find the delta. Business communication skills. You don't want to go ahead without these ones. You don't want to go and be talking what do we say? It converges. That's because there's a very little gap between revenue and profit. Sir, after 5 years, this thing will convert, you are at risk. And your guys say, which convert you? What are you converging to? No, that's not it. So you need to learn the art of communication, and you can't finish learning it. Because at different levels of your career, the way you communicate must also grow in tandem to that. One day, so I'm reporting to a strategy manager. I keep complaining because do you know why? He's a business person, I'm a technical person. So when I'm speaking, I sort of factorize many things. And my guy will say, have you finished? Now speak the English I can understand. How many of you want to be going through that trouble? Speaking, that means now I needed to start the registers and the vocab of business. Communication, business context, that speaks to your domain knowledge. Project management, yes. Because you'll be working mostly in a team of people, and then different people bringing on different things. You need to understand what a sprint is, what a task board is, what status is, and all of that. Then professional ethics. I pray this integrity in data handling and reporting. Like I said, I do tell my team members, you see, the integrity of my data is directly proportional to my reputation. Meaning, if there's a leakage or there is a pilferage which is stealing data, careless leakage or intentional stealing, and I don't guide against them, then my reputation is gone. Do you know that when you go to another organization, they'll send a memo to your new organization to ask about you? How did this guy fare? If that's what they write for a data manager, that's all for you. You gotta go and learn how to teach English in secondary school. Maybe you hope will come from there. So, business and soft skills, technical communication, business acumen, and all of that. Where to learn free and affordable resources. Kaggle, Nigeria ranks high on Kaggle. You'll be surprised at how Nigerians learn. And see, if you go out there, if you go out there and see how Nigerians learn, don't let them deceive you that Nigerians are known for cyber crime. You know, it's a lie. Go out there, go and see. You see, nobody will teach you how to learn. When you see your fellow black man reading like this is only what it's like, depends on. So we learn well. Kaggle rates us well. ML, data visualization courses, plenty out there. Google Data Analytics, they have a plethora of courses starting from 0 level to advanced level. Data camp, yes. Nigerian communities, these are online. Nigerian communities. How many of you know data science? DSN, Data Science Nigeria. Oh, that's encouraging. Great. Hope you are members.
Yes, sir.
Oh, great. You have a lot of resources. Plenty of them come from abroad. Plenty of them stay in Nigeria. You are up to pace with the industry. GitHub Student Pack. Hey, you know, when I graduated, it paid me that I came to put some resources that I could have enjoyed freely while I was a student. Many things. Even ChatGPT, it gives you, if you shall have 4-year accounts, go to ChatGPT, it will give you excessive discounts. Go to Claudia, it will give you excessive discount as a student. Please enjoy it, because once you graduate, it's not always easy. Student discount, there are plenty. Any tool you want to use, any technological tool you want to use, first search for student discount before you even pay. You will see that plenty of them cherish learning, and they will always give you very minimal amount for you to subscribe. Then that's where GitHub Starter Pack comes. They have many things they have collected together in that pack that is useful for your development journey. Start today, not tomorrow. That's the next resource. The next resource is not tomorrow. If you have seen me mention something, I hope you are Googling it to check. Keep it in your track so that tomorrow you can come back. Don't start tomorrow. Tomorrow is already too late. Somebody has gotten there before you if you don't take that advantage now. Yeah, building your career, the Nigerian reality, growing tech ecosystem, fintech boom, lower cost of living versus salary. Do you know that? I prefer to do remote job in Nigeria than to travel abroad. Is my head correct? Is my head correct like that? It's correct though. A bottle of Coke in Germany, 1.99. That's almost 3,000 naira.
That's issue well.
Yeah, but in Nigeria, how much is a bottle of Coke? 500. Do you get the difference? In Germany, you pay almost 40-something% as tax for your class. Almost for plus insurance, accommodation, and everything. So what I used to do then, I just slash my salary by 50%. What comes home in the end is 50% again. But if I'm working abroad, and I'm here, even to no tax, I can't do anything to me. I'm still better than people out there. So what am I saying? Here, that's why Nigeria is really paying. That's where it can be. I'm not saying you should not go abroad. After collect that one, you can travel abroad. Buy this thing, dash people there, come back, back to work, dash your labels. You are going to come back. Faster career progression. Yes. In the tech world, it's very fast. Where you cover in 5 years. Some operations of some department. For example, an insurance company. Do you know that their budget for the actuaries is different from every other department of the organization? Salary budget. They call them core. The budget for Data analyst too is somewhat different from the rest of the organization, especially if in tech. So you see, what do you need to become a manager in data analytics? I think with 5 years, after 5 years, I became a manager. And do operations and become a manager after 5 years. When you see white-bearded men and knock you, now where did you come? You think you know everything, you will spoil your career in this organization. You're ready to go. I'm saying the trajectory is faster. Am I saying we remain like that forever? No, if you waste your time, if time is wasted, it may change. But for now, in the foreseeable 10, 20 years, I think it may remain like this for the mathematics expert. Not going to think. Okay, so I think with this, okay, thank you. Where to work already, I mentioned this, insurance. AXA Bank is a very nice place. If you come with your certificate tomorrow, I'm telling you, the man I came to represent, if you get one paper in actuarial science, the man I came to represent, he will hire you almost immediately. He will hire almost immediately. If you get just one paper out of the 10 as an actuary, immediately you will almost get a job. So telcos, they need you to. So what do? 0 to 3, foundation building, portfolio, and network. This is very important, my dear friends. That 6 to 9. Sometimes I've also suffered before that I built in silos. Very interesting projects, but nobody was saying them. Nobody was saying them. But you know what? Yeah, it's not moving again, but I think I'm very close to the end. So, friends, if I may round up, this week, not next month, sign up for Kaggle, learn on ongoing. In fact, you can start a practice. Maybe most of you have Android phones, Abi. What I was doing then was that there's no day that goes on that I don't review news in data analytics. It's not that I practice everything there, but it keeps me abreast of an extincting skills. Let me tell you one fact. The skills I learned 3 years ago, they're almost dying now. Yeah. They're almost dying now. The Python, whatever, I've created dashboard before. I mean, I still create dashboards that I don't code. I just need the right information to give my AI. But because there's the domain knowledge, I know when AI is going wrong and not doing what I want it to do. I bring it back. Okay, don't be too intelligent for your master. Come back home. And then we restart again. So now, coding is no more a big deal. But why am I insisting you must learn coding? It is only then you can tell it, don't go bonkers. Come back here. This is what I want you to do. And control. Domain knowledge. So that your subordinates in the office, they also don't pack technical debt. They unit on you. It will work today, but come 2 months time, it will become shouted and stuff. That's why you need that call. Am I saying you will code up? No, I'm not even expecting you to. If anything, if I grab a project now, this is how I will approach it. If I grab a project on Kaggle, say forecasting house prices, which is one of the commonest data sets on Kaggle, do you know what I will do? I will not go the route of coding again. I will say I can apply AI to it that can answer all the questions then build it on the existing dashboards that people have built. It was easy for my boss to approve that we should get away from traditional Power BI, Tableau, and all of that in my organization. When I told him, hey, we can design our own dashboards from the scratch. And he says, why are you moving away from those? I said, I can't plug AI to those guys as much as I want them. And so every dashboard, in case you are lazy, you don't want to be clicking and checking, just text your question to the AI model at the side of the dashboard. It will give you your answer. So it makes it convenience. It's convenient. So if we want our budget, they didn't even price our budget last year. They just approve it. I pray it comes to me in Jesus' name. Amen. So, okay, the future, where all this is going. Yeah, so AI is becoming mainstream. That's why I started talking about. For me, I will learn data analysis as AI assisted data analytics. AI automation assisted data analytics. So before I used to do cleaning data, 1 month you have not finished. You start cleaning. This U, they will write it in Russian U. The another F, they will write it in Persian Q. All of that, you have to be removing it. And everything you remove from a data point, if valid, then you have lost something of a gain of insight. So you have to be very, but today, my dear friends, there's AI by design. At least we do 50% of the job, and I'll do the remaining 50% supervision. So AI is becoming mentioned, so you can't learn without AI. Don't deceive yourself that it's artificial. Artificial created by man. So that's part of your, if you've done anything online before, you contributed to the data they use in training it. If you have ever any Twitter accounts before, for example, Grok has used your tweets, they are used it to train this AI. So it's not something artificial apart from you. It's part of your brain that is there. So use it to your best of advantages. Then Nigeria data explosion. Yes, we are very at that stage where data is so low in Nigeria. But while you are having us model data and we can trust it, there's also the need to make sure that scalable data is made available. That's where you come in again. AI governance and ethics, like I told you, AI can go bonkers. They can go ways you don't want them to go. Oh, something happened. I think Deloitte did a consultation for a company. I think it's in Sweden. It was mainline last year. So what they did, there is a big 5 or big 4. Big 4 part of it. What they did was they used AI to generate part of the report. So the people that received it, they tested it, they checked, they saw that even some of those recommendations were wrong, meaning that they left here to do many things and gave it too much autonomy, much authority, not being able to manage it. That's where we come to AI governance and what? And ethics. Now, the common thread, as I've been talking since, strong mathematical foundations, practical skills and tools, persistence in your learnings and actions. Mathematics with purpose, just to wrap up, already you have healthcare, agriculture, disaster prevention, financial inclusion. Yes, there are many people in the villages, they don't still use OPay. It means they are financially excluded. How do we develop algorithms that catch them? That person that is financially excluded, how do you do credit rating and scoring for them? It doesn't even have anything financial. How do you do that? But I know you know maths, right? Something can happen. Do we believe together? Yes. The choice is yours. Some may not. The only difference, actions versus intention, both same presentation, both have same opportunities. Which will you be in? Don't forget, start before you are ready, before you finish. So in case you also need some mentorship, I train data analysts in a volunteering capacity at Pora Academy. I take and even So we are piloting something by integrating AI automation this year for 3 months, and let's see what works. But I can assure you, Port 7 is going to start, I think, by February 22nd. If you're also interested, I will share the flyer with the organizers so that you can register. They also take I take a 1-year track. I don't believe you can learn it in 6 months. Have I said 6 months here today? No, you can't learn it in 6 months. You're not learning English. Yeah, so you can't be learning in 6 months. 1 year minimum. So I teach for that. Your math, a foundational coach. Nobody can take that away. And you are not alone in this. Join the community, join us. If I don't have any question, or while you ask a question, this is the flyer for Quora. Thank you so much for your time. I'm very sorry.
Thank you.
Wow. All right. Thank you so much. Can we do better live?
Online.
All right. If you have met an industry person with energy and passion, if you have not met one before, you have met one today, he kept on doing with passion. Please let's appreciate him once again. All right. I want to believe that he has done justice to that topic that he took us. Now let's entertain 2 or 3 questions before we wrap up that session, and then to go to the next thing. So questions. Are there people both online? Please track the online participant for me in case there are questions online. I'm already seeing a hand here. So okay, can you indicate again? So I get 1, 2, 3. All right. If there's nobody online, that's a good one.
Yes, the question I want to ask, I know we in a way want to collaborate with academic industry. And let me take from the end of cybersecurity. For example, I gave the students a project topic to detect forge signature. We tried all our best to get it within here, but many of going to the Google, going to Kaggle. But I want to ask, and what are the industries now doing to get data sets on their end? If you give students research work, for example, on health, how can you see an hospital that will give us data sets? And it's becoming a problem for the academia. What I did was to call my students, okay now, about 400 of them, okay, sign the original signature about 2 or 3 times. Then get some other set of students. Now, I gave them those signatures, okay, now forge the signature. That's the way I could get my own. But it is very difficult for us at the academia to go to the industry and get this assets. I don't know what is wrong. Maybe they are holding it for us. I don't know what is going in this industry. What are you doing at the industry level to make this data set available for us locally? Not to go to Google, not to go to Kaggle, not to go to CIDC, all those ones. How are you collaborating with us? Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. I think data availability first. Data is the greatest resource of any organization. So when you are coming to ask for my data, first of all, our collaboration has to be very tight. Very, very tight. But is it impossible? No. For the cybersecurity scale, first of all, no organization wants to expose itself that it has suffered cyber attack before. It's a very dangerous reputational risk for them. Yeah. So sometimes, if you are not deep in collaboration with them, they won't expose the vulnerabilities that led to their attack surfaces. So, and 2, let's note also that except the company is tech-driven, they will not have anything from you. That's why things like open banking came into place, where my transaction through an API can be called by another bank. And that has helped to reduce the attack surface in all of this. So I do want to believe it is because we are hurting. You see, okay, aside an example, while I was in Germany, when you are finishing your MSc, you can do something called work student. Work student means my 6 years, my 6 months that I'm supposed to use for my master's thesis, can look for an industry or a company to work with. So as I'm working, I'm also a student researching. And within 6 months, I'm done. In that case, before that occurs, you would have seen a synergy between that school and that organization, such that they have had memorandum of what can be made available and what cannot be made available. The number 2 problem I also see in Nigeria is the data expertise is not sound enough for data to be well anonymized. You know, many of the data professionals that I have around now, many of them they just learn the methods. They don't know anything about cryptography. They don't know anything about using the Z index to change ages and still make sure they conform to a particular model. They don't know about using a distribution to scatter a data, but will still behave the same way if you take more and more sample from it. They don't know even central limit theorem. In the case when they don't know that, they will hide at the back of we can't let our data out, it's a gold mine. But when they have sound students here, of course, you will be able to anonymize data in such a way that nobody is exposed. You can't use the data to trace any of my customers, yet the research you want to do, you can do from it. So I would rather say the collaboration should come from the school as a whole, the department as a whole, a kind of symbiotic relationship. They gain expert students from us, they also give us data. So in that case, it will be also smooth for them to give data.
Okay. Yeah. So I have a practical example of that. Town and the GAM. Now, of course, when we started, there was fear. This kind of fear that there's no trust in the academia. We are working with Malaria Consortium. Initially, we were not good because we don't trust. It's like the trust starts from the students that we are producing. The reason why there is a long-term argument between ASU and government is trust. There's no trust in our products. So the industry does not feel that there's anything you guys can do. So that's where the whole thing began from. So for me, like, what did we start doing? We started doing what we call capacity building. So started training medical doctors, physicians, went to Abuja. We were seeing what we were doing. The last one we did in Abuja, when they saw what that was how we started working with the industry. We got a project last year with an industry. They don't send everything to us. I have it. So if I want, there is a platform. Send like Nigeria that all their I just need to. It's now progressive. Like the trust. They want to. The industry is not interested in proposal. It's MVP, minimum value products. Can you do this? Not that I'm writing a proposal. I can do this. Have you done it before? Have you shown me? So I think that is. So they want to see whether you can do it. Not that I mean you have done it before. Even if it's a simple thing, you have used data to do. Not that I will be able to do it. No, they want to see MVP. So I think we must start from they starting to believe us that we can do it. That's my own practical example. Now after that conference, many people start coming to me that can you help us to do this? Because we are using the data to solve the problem. We are using the mathematics. We are using stochastic. We are using all the mathematics. And the six side is which we use them to solve it. So they saw it. And so this thing is possible. So I think we must come from that point of view for them to start believing us and say, okay, you can do this. You can do that for us. You can. The Malaria Consortium that were not ready like 2 years ago, they were calling us now. Can you come and help us to? Can we work with you on this project? So I think that's my own view to that. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. Trust. Trust as been established as a key thing there. All right, so the second person, please can you pass the mic down to, or you just rush forward, please. You can come forward.
Thank you for the section, sir. So my question is, for a student, I'm a student of accounting. I do not have the mathematical foundation or the domain knowledge. So how do I build that foundation, that mathematical foundation?
Do this. Yeah, okay.
So, yeah, all right. So, I addressed the majority who I think are mathematics students.
I present myself to you, separated on two.
Thank you. So, I mentioned earlier that I've seen art students do data analysis. Somebody who studied history, who studied English, data analysis. And some of them are, they are well known even on LinkedIn. That's very funny. Many of the popular. So, as though you can't start anything, no, you can start many things. Go to the Kabul. What I'm just saying is that a mathematics graduate has some in-depth skills to deepen some problems you might not go further than. But everything mentioned here applies to you. Go to Kabul, you can do machine learning also, you can still predict. But what I'm saying is the mathematics students now might be able to unwind and rewind the models and then blend it to fit. But there's the model making part and there's the model application part. You fit for an application part. So you can begin, go to Kabul first, explore. You even see, look for fintech data. It's not common, not so many analysis on them, but I think one of the most thriving sectors of tech is fintech. And not so many people have covered them. You see many people have covered sales data, customer data, but not real fintech data because most of them have ledger natives. The credit, the debit, the interest, the VAT for just one transaction. So one transaction might be like 10 data points. That is no look for those. That's a good way to start. But you can also join Pora Academy to guide you along so that as you're finishing, one way with your certificates, you're also with skills ready for the industry. Thank you.
Right, thank you for your beautiful address. My question is a graduate of actuarial science who is trying to break through the job cycle. What's your advice for that person, considering the fact that professional exams in actuarial science are very expensive? So what do you advise for such a person?
First of all, if you can afford me, join me in Unilab for the next session. Let's start master's degree together. But if you cannot afford it, apply to AXA Mansard. They are more like the only international champions. All of us, they are champions in their industry, but this has international presence. So they have a lot of respect and they need a lot of actuaries. Because you see, the many international firms don't invest in insurance in Nigeria. Do you know why? There are not too many actuaries to manage this firm. Because in the end, if you like as a CFO, prepare the accounts, show the profitability. If there is no actuarial signature on it, the regulating body will not recognize it. The international investors, they will not see anything in it. So while also doing that, also look to data analytics. I mean, industry relevant data analytics. So you combine those two. I think they will help. Thank you. Why do I mention Unilab Masters? That's because you need 10 papers to become an actuary. And if you graduate from Unilab Masters in Actuarial Science, you can get up to 6 exemptions. Shortly your writing cycle by like 2 to 3 years. And that's what I want to explore. Thank you. Presenters? No. Nobody online. Okay, that's it. No. Before please. Before our keynote speaker finally goes to have his seat, you want to believe with me that the keynote speaker has done so well. Has he done well? Those of you who are of data science, he has said a lot of things I know that you should go home after now and start thinking about. Is that not so? The GIT, can I see your hands up, graduating things? Oh, great. Now, maybe after now, I'm sure that Prof is going to be pressing some buttons and pressing some of our necks to do more than we have been doing, because he has really provoked us today, to action. And he said something just like, when we were in UI last year, one of them said, he said there's no job in the country. He said, if you can solve this problem, they said the industry can pay you. Right? He also repeated the same thing. He said, you can solve the problem of cybersecurity, you can solve this problem. He said, and you request for 10% of the what's the revenue. He said, they will be ready to give you. Can you imagine? So that means that what we are saying is there is provision out there, but what we need, to get it done. So the Yoruba will say, I'll say it in Yoruba, maybe you have your. He said, that the pots that we take what? That will eat up pepper. His bomb will be hot. Will be hot. That's the way I can interpret it. That means you need to do so much to be able to get to that point. So because our presenter has done so well, I will now bring up the director to give him this award that we have prepared for him. This is an award for our presenter, and this presented by the directors. May I please call up again our presenter, representing Mr. Tokwe Adeni, to receive this award, a token of appreciation from us. Thank you. Please let's put our hands together and see the shape. All right, thank you so much. Now, you would realize that on our program timetable, we have scattered a lot. And that's because majority of you also didn't come to time. And now the time is really, really affected. Now, we want to have our second presenter. He has been here since morning, listening to it since Friday. Okay, I said since morning. No, he flew from Spain on Friday and he was here since Friday. He has been in Nigeria, and so I think it's a great one having somebody with that passion and energy being in this place all the way. Now, but before I do that, Mr. Sam, please can you just speak to it. All right. So while we are preparing for that, while the opening ceremony was going on, we had one of our very distinguished professors from the Department of Mathematics stepped in, and I would like to acknowledge his presence. Please, can you join me to appreciate the presence of Professor Adeyefa? I'm sure that while the presenter was speaking, some of our professors in mathematics are here seated, and I'm sure somehow they'll be having this feeling that wow. So because as the presenter was talking, he kept on reiterating what they have said. Somebody once said, if they say a course you can work anywhere, you say believe that means you can work nowhere. But I think it's not like that for maths, right? He has come to demonstrate for us here today that all the matrices that we are learning, all the optimization, the linear algebra, they find their place in the industry. And so that's a very good one for us. So now I like to say this also to all our presenters. In order for us to manage time, so one of the things that we have provided for us is a timer here. And so the timer is placed right in front of the person you hear so that you can take note of the countdown. So once the countdown, you see the countdown. So that means you don't want to be waiting the time, from the back. And we appreciate that so that we can also take other sessions of the day. So while we are trying to sort out that technique from the media field, we are also going to now take the citation of our professor and our guest speaker.
Okay, let me check something before I start. Okay, please.
The person of our Professor Ivan Area, who is going to be giving his keynote speech now. So I have the honor of inviting one of our PhD scholars to read that citation.
No, it's not.
Please join me to welcome Mr. Mubojuri.
Okay, so I am not going to be able to play, but the video is also in the stick. Okay, so just when I ask for the video, no. When I ask for the video, yes. So okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. Professor Ivan Area citation goes thus. Ivan Area is a full professor of applied mathematics at the University of Vigo, Galicia, in the northwest of Spain, just above Portugal. He has published more than 150 research articles in prestigious international journals and has supervised 6 PhD theses. From 2016 to 2020, he served as the Secretary General of SIGPA, a UNESCO-type organization whose mission is to promote mathematics in developing countries. Previously, between 2006 to 2010, he was the Vice Rector for Institutional Relations at the University of Vigo. In 2020, he served as Deputy Director of ANECA, the National Quality Assurance Agency for the University System under the Ministry of Universities. In the last 2 years, he served as Chair of the Research Assessment Committee for Academic Merit Awards at the same national agency, ANECA. Finally, in the last 8 years, he has compatibilized to serve as the Rector's Delegate of the University of Vigo on the Inter-University Commission of Galicia, responsible for organizing the examinations for university access and admission. Join me as I welcome Professor Ivan Area.
Thank you very much. We are trying to fix some issues. It's just a PDF, but sometimes. First of all, well, this is fixing. Of gratitude. First of all, to Professor Bakare for all his hospitality since I came here last Friday. I hope I was not affecting too much his routines and his daily life. So really thanks, Professor. All this thanks is also to all his team because they have been very patient with me these days. Always foreign people coming from outside. I do the same when people come there. So many thanks for this. Okay. Yes. Full screen. Almost done. So, this is perfect. Okay, no, this is not perfect. Sesame Street, okay, this is good. This is not good. Okay. is not on me. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, now it's stable. So, no, and this is not working also.
I will bring them up, no? Tomorrow, what the hell have you done? Can we try one of the last 10 minutes?
It not working.
Okay, try that.
Let me, let me. Do not, okay, I move, okay. No. It's the problem.
Okay, yes.
It's working like this. It's working.
But she has stable guidance. She has stable guidance.
And the controller. Smooth the cable.
So that is
Just moving one page.
Ṣé ti copy ṣe wọn bí wọ́n bá mi yí
Using which I put my computer and connect the.
It's not about computer. Cable, what am I saying? Being compressing. Being concentrated. Okay, I think it's stable. Can you? Can you move this?
It's stable now. Okay. I push this and it's not moving.
We'll control from here. We'll control from here. We'll control.
You can control.
Yeah.
Okay, I will say next. That's all. Okay. Okay, it's not a big problem. Yes.
Yeah, I know, you can't say
It seems that it's a little bit occasional.
Okay, fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, next slide, please. The talk is with 6 items. Sorry for this delay. The 5 first one are already published. Okay, and it can help to introduce how I would like to enter in the last problem, which is the interesting one. So these are other problems that can help to understand the approach to enter in the malaria problem. So next slide. So before talking about the last problem, let me say that was not big. Okay, this is Spain. Okay, here's Morocco, Algeria, and this is my region here in the northwest. Okay, and it's written here clearly that we were endemic of malaria. So I am interested in malaria for real. It's not because I'm coming here. I am interested since many time ago. Okay, and in 1964 it was eradicated. Now we have no endemic cases, only people coming from other countries. But in recent times, I started to think about this problem because we have this climate change. The vector is going up. So we will have again the problem in my region. So I am really interested in how to try to understand the spread. For those liking football, this is here's Barcelona. Okay, for those from football, here's Madrid. Okay, and here's Celta de Vigo. Vigo is my university. Okay, so this is a region that in the past was not like this. This is the border with Portugal, but it was a little bit larger. Okay, but of course, during many fights and many years, now the region is not like it was. But it's interesting because of the many other situations I will explain later. And before moving, let me say a few words about COVID. I will talk about COVID. When the problem started, okay, we were already were studying the COVID. And this was because we had a PhD student, a Cameroonian student, Faisal Ndeiru. And I remember in October of the previous year, he told us that a problem was appearing in China. And we had data. So we were very happy to have data to do simulations. Okay, let's follow this disease. We thought, okay, let's try to follow this disease. And at some point, we had the first case arriving to my region. It came in a bus from Madrid to here. So fortunately, we had a model. So I wrote the model. I had all the ingredients, and I decided to write the model. And the model was saying to me that the peak was to be in 5th of March. This is not important for you, because 5th of March, what is 5th of March? It's one day. The peak could be the 1st of March, but the tricky part is that that day we had elections. We have votations for the president. So I enter in panic, because we cannot have elections if we have the peak of COVID. Can you imagine that at that time? So I wrote a message to all the parties at the parliament saying, okay, I'm very sorry, but you will need to change the data, the date for the elections, because according to my predictions, it will be the peak of COVID. It was on Thursday. I remember Thursday. They didn't answer, of course. Who is a simple scientist contacting with people in the parliament saying that they need to change the date for the election. Do you understand how important this is? Okay, this was on Thursday. On Monday, I had a phone call from Minister of Health asking for help. And then we enter in helping them, and this will be part of the talk. But now, since I have the map, I thought this would be interesting for the audience. So next slide, please. So let me go to this simple. The simplest case, the simplest model sometimes is the letter. For sure, you all know this model, for sure. We have this SIRE model, susceptible, infected, recovered. We have infection rate, recovering rate. Okay? We know a lot of things about this. And we do not know a lot of things about this, because we do not know an exact solution. We don't know an analytical solution, even for this simple model of 3 differential equations. We can make approximations, but we cannot solve it analytically. So it is not, I'm trying to survive. Okay, so we cannot. We can make numerical approximations, or we can try to solve by power series solution, if we try to think in different ways. And all of us, we have worked on models. Next slide, please. We have tried different models. This is another model. This is a model for COVID. And when we were working in this model, the key was this box. We have the susceptible, exposed, infected, hospitalized, recovered, fatality, asymptomatic. And this was an idea I had, that they is super spreaders. we thought that some people would be more affected more than others to spread the disease. This was an idea, theoretical idea. I recognize it was just a theoretical idea that later it was proved to be true. But sometimes we need to be transgressors. If we repeat what is in the books, we get what is in the books. And if we try to get new results, we need to be transgressor. So I was transgressor. I put this P here and see what happens. And the model was working very well. And let me say, we need to be realistic. The model was fitting very well the data coming from China. The big question is, do we trust the data coming from China? I don't know. But we played in my region. Do you remember I played with the first case? We get the peak, and later the peak was that day. Exactly. It's like having a crystal ball and say, please, crystal ball, tell me when will the peak be the peak. Okay, so next slide, please. Okay, this was published in a paper. Sorry. In a paper which had a lot of impact. It's in the 99th percentile, lot of citations, but this is not important to me. This is not important. I was not working for citations. I was working for real. And what was real, and is not in the slides, is that we were working for the system, for the ministry, and the big question was not trying to know how many infected individuals. It was easy. But the big question to me was how many individuals would need a bed at the intensive care unit. This was the big question. Because, okay, if you are infected, it's okay, you can be at home. Okay, but if you need a bed at the intensive care unit, then you need the bed. And you need very specialized team to treat the patient. So this is money, a lot of money. So we were working with them based on these simulations to predict what is going to happen at the intensive care units. In this regard, I would like to say just a few words because it was I remember perfectly the day I came to the ministry and said, it seems that we have time. The curve begins to go down because we were trying to, we have a student residence, we were preparing the student residence for hospital. Putting all the students out, putting beds there, putting equipment, can you imagine all that? Okay, so next slide, please. But, okay, next slide is coming. No, previous, okay. So, this is the system of differential equations. If people here is working on this type of things, know the difficulties of finding the eigenvalues and eigenvectors and instability of a system with 8 differential equations. It's a lot of work. You need to prove that the system is stable, you need to obtain the important points, and so on. But after that, because at that time, I was only focused on solving the problem. Now, after, I can think. So I realized that in this system of differential equations, I can introduce some changes. Next slide. And introducing some changes, I reduced to a system of 5. And system of 5 is better than a system of 8. Always. But next slide, please. Introducing more changes, I can reduce to a system of 3. And next slide, please. And this system of 3, just naming differently, becomes a SIR model. So, we can introduce very difficult models. I am sorry if this is controversial because probably some students are working with very difficult models. But what I have said is that I can reduce that extremely difficult model with 8 equations to a system of 3. So I need to study better the system of 3. Let's go back to the SIR model. In this system, of course, we can reduce formally, but we cannot understand, because if we rename this in a single variable, we lose a lot of information. So this is the importance of studying difficult systems. But at the same time, this is very important. Okay, next slide, please. And I am scientist, and I don't have problems to make criticism to myself. This is the first criticism. Now we know that recovered can be susceptible and enter again. But at that time, we didn't know. And in fact, during the period, it was not a number of individuals getting recovered and starting again the cycle. At that time, it was not so important, so it's residual. But now, I like to be honesty, integrity. So we need to be honest and say, this was not so. Next slide, please. Okay, this is the recognition from the government saying that I was helping them, blah, 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 blah. This was done pro bono. Do you understand what I'm saying? Pro bono. No, I don't need, because I have I'm lucky I have my salary as professor. I don't need, I was not doing this for money, just to help. We are functional, yeah? Civil servant. We are civil servants, so it was my obligation as civil servant to put all my knowledge to the next slide, please. And now, again, after this pandemic finished, more or less, we decided to study in another way. And now the digital twin is a very, very good tool. And this idea of digital twin will be used for COVID, for another respiratory virus, for the flu, for an insect we have there, and finally, I would like to use it for malaria. So I would like to be focused some minutes on this idea. What we used to do is to have data and try to simulate the data with models. But the difference here is we are simulating the data, and at the same time, we are feeding the machine with data to update the model. So this is the main idea, not having a fixed data, but let me say it this way, a moving continuous data in real world. So next slide, please. And we have used for modeling the COVID pandemic. Again, it's so it cannot be seen here, but it's again a very important paper. Next slide, please. And here you can see some of the graphs. And later I will enter in detail. Here we have real data, we have simulations, and for sure you can assume that is real data simulations, but you can see other lines. Other lines are related with the idea of digital twin. During the pandemic, we observed that at the beginning we had no vaccine. Later we had vaccine. So the beta and gamma in the SIR model cannot be unique. These are functions which are changing. At the beginning, I was obliged to be at home only with my family. Later, I was able to be in a small group. Later, in a larger group. Later, the vaccine. Later, again, home. Later, so the beta and gamma cannot be a constant. These are the curves of hypothetical future that never happened. If the government would let us without restrictions, this would be the situation. But at some point, the government said, no, you cannot do what you're doing. You need to be at home. So this was the situation. Then they felt relaxed. And they said, okay, we can have some party. Then we started to have some party. And they realized, if we keep party, then we go this. So, no, again, this is the digital twin idea. So, next slide, please. So, this is the idea. This is the SIR digital twin, the digital twin of a SIR model. Now, the beta and the gamma, recovery and infection rates, are not constants, are functions. So I change from differential equations to partial differential equations, which is for mathematicians, we know it's a big challenge. But in the spirit, this is not really a system of partial differential equations, because we do not allow this beta to have big changes. We assume that the changes are smooth. Okay, we call this variable here a slow time. We have smooth changes in the parameters, even we have changes in the infected and recovered individuals. Next slide, please. So these are the hypotheses. Now we have functions of two variables, t and the slow time ts. We have at the initial time, we have the SIR model, the classical, because there is no option. And what I mentioned, these variables will not change very fast. So these are the three hypotheses we are working with the system. So let me explain to you how it works. This is an example. We have the hospitals sending me the data. Okay, and I was doing the simulations. This is not like we play, but it's better to understand. So imagine that the hospital is sending me the data every 2 days, day 4, day 6, day 8, day 10, okay? But they sent me 4 days back. And you can say, and why 4 days? If you realize, if at day 4 they send the 4 previous days, they send me the data from day 4, 3, 2, 1, and at date 6 they send me 6, 3, 4, and 3. So 4 and 3 are repeated here and here. And you can say, why? No, this is very important. Extremely important, because what we observed is that during the pandemic, the hospitals were concerned in helping people more than in data. So this is true. I remember phone call at the night or every night. What are the data? One day we have, let's say, 100 dead people, dead. And the next day they told me, no, we have 90. And I thought, okay, so the resurrection, is this possible? It's not possible. If you had 100, now you cannot be 90. So, no, it was a problem with the data, because we were more concerned with helping people than with sending you the data. So, this is why we repeat data. Now you understand. To avoid this type of problems. Sometimes they have this situation. So we decided to play this way. So if they have a correction, we enter the correction in the system. And this was the big trick. Okay? We need to think a lot. So, with this, please, next slide. We have now mathematics. Sorry, we need to put some mathematics. Now the solution, because beta can have any value and gamma can have any value. So we have not a unique solution. We have a multivariate map solutions. Oh my God. So we need, and now I am sorry because I need to excuse you, we need very fundamental maths. Because we cannot do applied math if we don't have very fundamental tools. We need a theoretical. I need theory, very theory. So we need to start to understand what is the solution of a system like this. And finally, we are lucky, we can understand what is a multivariate map, because some other people studied in the past from a theoretical point of view what is multivariate map, and for sure they were not thinking that Ivan Arena in someday in the future was the one trying to use this to solve the COVID problem. No? Okay? Sorry for that. And we defined what is the solution. And now we have the big problem. Does the system have solution? because we have a system of differential equations. We know what is a solution, or what are the many solutions, and what is the best solution, what is the best approximation. So next slide. So we define the main digital twin as the best approximation in the full time, and we prove, this is theory, we need to prove that the solution exists and it is unique, which is not trivial. Everybody with maths know that proving existence and uniqueness theorems is hard work. We were able, because we know a little bit of theory. Next slide, please. So next slide, don't worry, next slide. And this was the simulations. This was the front cover of the journal. They pick up our figures they liked, and they put here, I explained it already to you. This is the the future that never happened, and this was the reality. So next slide. So once we have the idea, we decided to use for another virus. Of course, you all know the flu. And I don't know if you are familiar with this virus. Okay. That's it. Respiratory syncytial virus. Do you know this virus? Do you know? It's a virus affecting all of us, but mainly small kids and older people. And people die because of this virus. I am interested in this virus for personal reasons. I had a daughter, I have no problem to say this, that was born with 27 weeks of pregnancy. 27 weeks, can you imagine this? It was like my hand. And for those kids, they had an experimental vaccine against this virus. So, I am human. I decided to use what I know to try to help. So, next slide, please. And here is the simulations we can anticipate for the system. There are several, because we have 15 years of data from the health system. I have 15, 1, 2, 3, 4, okay? And this is the first year, and then we have different simulations, and you can see that we can approximate, and what is important, anticipate. Because simulating something what happened in the past is very simple. The problem is anticipating it. So we are now able to anticipate and help them to say, okay, this year, do not give any vacancies. Do not leave people to, do not allow people to be at home during this week and this week, because you will need all the doctors, all the nurses, everybody in the hospital. And this is how we are helping to the administration. Next slide. We are here. Okay, and now, I'm sure you don't know this insect. This insect is called Vespa. You know, Vespa is the big category, and Velutina is the specific one. So Vespa velutina is one type of Vespas. Okay? And this is a big problem we have now in my region. Enormous and very terrible problem. As usual. Okay, let me go to this. This is up. Okay, well, sorry. Maybe this was the reason why it was working. I was moving down instead of up. Okay. Okay, so this is so this insect has a yearly period, which is in this picture. First, they have an emergence, then they build the primary nest, then they build the secondary nest, then they have fertilization, and then they have wintering, like pears. So we cannot try to get a model for this insect with classical derivatives. Classical derivatives is not working for this because we have wintering. We have a wintering period. So they stop for a lot of months and they appear from nothing again. So we need to start to study another tools, another mathematical tools. So next slide. So let me explain. This insect came from China to France, Bordeaux, in 2006. So it's a very recent program. Like that, in 2010, we discovered the first nest here in the north of my region, 2010. And since then, we are more following how it is spreading. And previously, I told you that it's interesting because what was this region? Because I let me show you. I hope this is the map. Okay, next slide. Okay, so this is my region. Here we have mountains. So the insect is not going through the mountains in this direction. Okay. No, not going this direction. The insect is going down because here we have no mountains. So it's entering in Portugal. So this is about borders. Sometimes humans, we invent borders, but insects do not respect borders. The Vespa velutina is not asking for visa to go from my country to Portugal. So, okay, we have here, and please try to remember the shape. The shape of my region is like, let's say, more or less a rectangle, and we have these entrances here, okay, of the ocean. This is important for the, and why is important this insect? Because we have insects everywhere, but this insect is very bad. It kills the honeybees. So people working in honey, no more business. They need insurance. They need insurance. Okay. But, okay, you can say, okay, honeybees, but if it beats you, you die. 3. With 3 of them, 1 person dies. So this is a very bad insect. So I am interested because economic and public. Okay. So now let us move to the next slide. This is our classical beesden, just to help you to understand. And this is the new one. Is a large one, is a little bit silly. Let's say if you, it's very easy to keep. The nest is this size. So it's a big size of Vespas. It's not good to get close to them. Okay, next slide. So let me come back here. I was trying to explain that in the first part of the year, they, up to March, they start to fly and look for a place to start to build the primary nest. Then they build the primary nest. So it's like this, and they make a jump. They prepare the primary nest, and then they are here, okay? And then another jump. And at the end of this year, they winter. They have wintering, no bees, you don't see any Vespas. So we are lucky that at this time we are not having this problem. At this period, we have no problems. So we need to understand this from a mathematical point of view. Oh, okay. Now, let me talk to you about maths. We all of you know derivatives. Okay, but this is not classical derivative. So let me consider a left continuous and non-decreasing function. I call it G. G is a left continuous non-decreasing function from R to R. I define two sets, the set where this function is constant and the set where this function has jumps. Okay? Of course, if the function is constant, it has no jump. This is trivial. And the set of points where the function is constant is open and can be represented as numerable union of open intervals. This is for mathematics is easy to prove. This is an example. This function has a jump here. Here is constant, you see? And I can put many other functions like this. Okay, so here we have only one point of jump, which is a 0. It's very simple to see this. And now, next slide. And now we define what is the Stieltjes derivative. Do you know Stieltjes, the mathematician? So for sure, again, Stieltjes was not thinking on Vespasian when he was doing the theory. Sorry. But now I am able to use all this machinery to try to explain the velutina. So the derivative of a function, look at this limit. If you look at this limit and you replace g by the identity function, then it's classical derivative. Is g of s is s, g of t is t, so you have the classical derivative, nothing. So at the points where the function is not constant or has not jump, then you have classical derivatives. But if the function has a jump or is constant, it is possible to define the derivative at that point, which is very important. Next slide. Now, there are a lot of theory about Stieltjes derivatives. I'm not going to be seminar on that. It's linear, okay? And this is very interesting. We know the derivative of a product. Yes, but if you have the derivative in this Stieltjes sense, you have derivatives of the first, second without derivative, derivative of the second, first without derivative. This is classical one. And then we have this extra term. This extra term is 0 if the function has no jumps. But if the function has a jump, then this term appears. Do you understand? Oh. Okay, is there? Okay. It's not the same slide. Yeah, it's the same slide. Okay, for the quotient, we have rules. Again, I don't want to enter in big details. And we are there a team of people working in both directions, theory and applications. And there is continuous function, what is bounded G continuous. Next slide, I don't want to. And these people, these colleagues are doing the theory, and I am more interested in how the velutina moves. Okay? Okay. So we are able to pose what is a differential equation in this sense. Now, this is not classical derivative, but a Stieltjes derivative. And it's possible to define what is a solution. And if you use some tricks of classical analysis, you can compute numerically. Of course, Stieltjes was not thinking in numerical computation. At that time, what was numerical computation? Okay, so why they are useful? Next slide. Because we can introduce Stieltjes parabolic partial differential equations. Okay, now, yes, we are in partial differential equations, in true partial differential equations. But we are introducing the time derivative in parabolic way, in Stieltjes way. Okay, so the time is not a continuous. It's not the identity function g of s equal to s. No, it's another function. Using this machinery, we can develop. Next slide, please. Okay, I'm going to jump. The theory jump, please. Next. Existence and uniqueness. Next. Okay, and now. And here is the g function we considered. To explain what the Vespasian is doing. I prefer jumping the theoretical part to focus more in the application. So instead of considering a derivative identity function, we are introducing steps, jumps, to try to catch what the insect is doing in real life. And with these derivators, next slide, we have real data. Again, we are lucky. And we started to put, okay, we know what the first case here, and we try to do the simulation, how to spread, how this insect is moving in my region. Of course, we need to introduce a lot of variables, because this is a very simple approach. I have realized recently that the location of rivers is very important. So we need to introduce more ingredients in the equations. It's not yet done, but I know now that the next slide, please. Okay, and now we have introduced, next slide, please. Next slide. Okay, and now let me see if this happens. I try to play this video here. This is the real evolution of Velutinus from 2003. Play, please. Play. 2013 up to now. It's not working. Oh my God. Open up. Run again from zero. Okay, so at the beginning, nothing. You see, it's right, and you see how it is spreading. Now I take this picture with the rivers, and you see that there is more density. It's trying to follow the river. I know that. And this is my region. You remember, I try to remember the shape of my region, and you see, okay, read again many times. And it starts from the north where it appeared, and it's moving, and now it's a real problem we have there. It is not, this is not mathematical invention, but it doesn't have, it's okay to be if it is just a mathematical invention. This is what I try to say. Okay, next slide. Okay. And now we are left to the malaria modeling. Let's think. I was using this digital twin ideas for respiratory infections. COVID, syncytial respiratory virus, flu, and it works. But this has no vector, it's transmission from human to human. Then we were able to study how this Vespa was spreading, which is an insect. But this insect is not taking disease with it. It's only killing people, and only killing honeybees. But I thought, okay, if I have this and I have this, I can put together and try to have a model for malaria. Do you catch the point? It's quite simple, the idea. So I have two models. We are starting to work with Professor Bakare. So this is very new. Okay. The first model is using classical derivatives. So we have here the malaria for human, and here we have the mosquitoes. SM and Y and IM are mosquitoes. S mosquito, I mosquito. Okay, M is mosquito. Okay, next slide. So we have some parameter values of the system from classical references. Next slide. I introduce the digital twin, which is the very same spirit as I did before. Okay, we can try to play with digital twin. So now parameters are moving because we know that at certain periods we have no mosquitoes. Lucky for me now. Okay, but at other time we have a lot of mosquitoes, so it's okay to cast the idea. And I run this. Okay, I put this together and I was able to do some simulations. Okay, next one. Okay, multi-evaluate map, solution, uniqueness, all of this can be jammed. And the main problem is that for now I have no real data. Please, I need real data. So I invented data. Do not criticize me for the graphs. I invented the data of human, invented the data of mosquito. My fault. It's not on Professor Baccare's fault. It's my fault. Okay. So I put some ideas of digital twin and solve. Next slide. Here is supposed to be human, and here is supposed to be mosquito. But if you have a look, please, apologies for, okay, do not kill me for this. The idea is that the digital twin is able to give predictions and fit quite well the data. This is the idea. Then I'm never happy, never. I try to do more. So the next step is introduce Stiglitz derivatives for mosquitoes, because mosquitoes also have this type of periods, appearing, disappearing, hatching, many situations. So I was able, please next slide, next slide. Here is what I tried to learn about mosquito. I'm not giving you, because you know more than me about this, where the eggs, the larvae appear, the adults. So next slide, I introduce here a derivative in the Stiglitz sense, which is the novelty. This is new, completely new. And I invented some derivator to be able to work. Please, next slide, next slide. And here is what I get. It matches 100%. I would like now to change the data for real data, put, and see what happens. And for sure, you would like to see the same. Again, please, I need the data. And this is all. Next slide. I hope I have used most of the majority languages, but I'm not sure. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Bob, for that presentation. On the digital twin, please connect. All right, thank you, sir, for that beautiful presentation on the use of digital twin and Stiglitz integral to capture the dynamics of various either population dynamics or disease dynamics. Like he kept asking for data, particularly for malaria. I think that will be sorted out already, and it will be great to see how digital twin plays in malaria modeling. Now, I know that people here seated will be interested in asking questions to engage, bro. Have you delivered so great? So let me see.
If you prefer asking later during lunch, I will be happy to answer.
Okay, no problem. So are there people who would like to ask their question at this point? You have listened to a very, okay, with 3 hands. Please help me track the online presenters as well. So I'll just show you according to the way the hands are raised. 1, I saw a hand there. 2, and then 3.
Yeah, so thanks so much, Prof, for the presentation. So I just want to ask about using the digital twin to capture malaria, because some of the things I understand about malaria is there are quite a number of fluctuations that are observed. Fluctuations, maybe in the data, for instance. So maybe like seasonality, some of them are not actually regular because we have some other good. So I want to know how
it is very good question.
That's number 1. Then the number 2 is that number two is that I believe for every mathematical concept is always a motivation behind it. So I really want to get the motivation behind this digital twin. I really want to get the motivation behind it.
Okay, thank you very much. This is a very interesting question. during COVID, we had already a lot of fluctuations. A lot. Again, because data is data. And sometimes we are taking data. Well, let's not be very. So what we did during COVID is to regularize the data, taking means of 7 previous days. And this gives you a more soft cure and avoid these high fluctuations. Okay? This is one trick we use and it's very common. And what is my real motivation for this? Because we had malaria, not at the time I was born, but just before, it was endemic. Now we have climate change, the mosquito is moving up. I guess that we will have malaria in 10 years. So I would like to learn how is moving to help the health system to this is my real motivation.
All right, thank you so much. So the next person.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. So in the course of the training, I noticed that the model, I made that a non-linear ordinary differential equation. It is actually time dependent. Then suddenly you now change it from ODE to partial. So I really want to know the mechanism there.
The digital twin.
Yeah,
and then later switch to digital twin. Yeah, but which is partial derivative.
Let me show it you again. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay then.
Yeah. This is the question is about this, I assume. Yeah. That is not real system of partial differential equations. It's just notational. But what is inside is partial differential ordinary differential equations, but we have this slow time changing. So we have a system of ordinary differential equations for each period we are analyzing. Okay, but this is notational. Nothing more. Yeah. And the third question.
Okay, the third person.
Let me go here to listen properly.
Thank you very much, Prof. I want to ask about the threshold. The threshold after converted to digital twins. Do we consider threshold at any point?
Yeah, we have done this, but I have no time to put here the slides. I would prefer to show you the main results and not entering the threshold, and this, of course, we did.
Correct. Thank you. Can we please have access to your materials? To your paper, your publications?
Most of them,
maybe a link?
Most of them are online because in my system we are obliged to put everything in public.
Yes.
We have some fights with journals, but of course I will send to Professor Bakar, for instance, and he probably can send them to you.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you so much. Please let's appreciate Prof. Okay, so are there people online with questions? Now we please check if there are online people. No question online. Okay, thank you. But I would like to also ask a question from Prof. All right. So now looking at the digital twin approach of modeling. Now I really am interested in where it goes away from the classical, modeling style. And then in case, because I remember, just like he was asking for thresholds, not only thresholds, there are other things that in the classical that we do. And then one wants to see how to transit from the classical to the digital twin. How do you get all of the concepts? So
no, it's correct. Yeah. The main point is when you have data and you have to simulate, and again, you need to anticipate, then you need to go to a model like this. Because reality is not fixed, reality is changing. So when you have reality which is today is like this, tomorrow is like that. This year we have a lot of rain, next year we don't have so many rain, we have heat, we don't have heat. So other external factors, we can put them in these parameters to predict, to anticipate. This is the trick. Of course, you can play with classical models without no problem. What is for mathematics? I like, of course. I like doing mathematics, pure mathematics. Very theoretical, no problem with this, but when you have to do this, then to me, this is the trick. Okay.
Yes, thank you very much. So I was just thinking that like the stages approach still somehow deterministic. The stages is still deterministic in nature. Like it does not some element of random or certainty. Did you induce in your okay? So I'm thinking of flavoring your stages with some stochastic flavors.
Can be done.
Yeah, to really, because like the reason for that is when you are looking at the influence of climates like temperature and rainfall, which are not some of them are not temporal in nature in terms of their dynamics. You understand? So,
I know this should be done, but they have one life.
I know that. So just like when you publish an reviewer tells you can do this, you can say it's a limitation of our study, right? So any other person can look at it. So Prof has just said one life. So and it's a good one. So meaning that if somebody wants to learn, push forward the stages and flavor into stochasticity. So it's a good one that Prof is also raising now. So I think it's a starting point and a very big one already at that. Please let's appreciate time for this beautiful, very beautiful presentation. And I know something. I tell people whenever we come for a conference like this, when you see the data, when you see the plots, when you see everything, you appreciate that, isn't it? You want to hear all of that. But when you begin to see some of these terrible looking symbols, you know, I already saw some people already sleeping. I could see it. Some people were already sleeping. So, but the truth remains that when our first presenter was talking, he kept on saying that you need a fundamental, you need a fundamental path, right? So this is the back end of the front end that you enjoy. You enjoy the front end, but there's something happening at the back. And I think that we should open our hearts to receive them and learn them, right? All right, thank you so much. I think either has the bypass also dictates the team. So if you know how to control the back end, I think the front end still, yes. So that's a beauty. So and it's beautiful to see math from both ends, from both front and back ends. Now we really want to appreciate their professor. Now understand something. If somebody loves math so much, loves academics so much, loves science so much, that can go anywhere, that person should be appreciated, isn't it? We should appreciate him. This person, now I think he should be going back tomorrow, right? Okay, Wednesday. So it's having only today, I think mainly today, tomorrow, to stay with us. And then he doesn't care that it's not a 1 week program. He has to fly all the way, spending just few days and spending so much to impact knowledge. So we really, really appreciate. And this appreciation cannot be completed except allow our director to really pour out his own mind also beyond what I can say. So permit me to invite the director to give this appreciation.
I really want to appreciate Ivan because Yes, I was in Morocco with my wife last year, and then we went there. And someone introduced Ivan to me that we're planning to organize a SIMPA school in Nigeria. So he said he has been part of SIMPA as one of the big guys there. So he said we can work with him and all that. So I've never met him. We have just been talking online. I'll be meeting him. So I'll be meeting him first time on Friday at Akure when they landed. My other friend, who is a Portuguese, that I was thinking that he was going to be around, he couldn't make it. He went to Senegal because Senegal won the African World Cup. So he was on his way to Nigeria. I said, no, Nigeria, you did not win. So this time around, I will stay in Senegal. And so if you win, then I'll come back to Nigeria. So I said, no problem. Next time we are going to win. So anyway, but Ivan has been wonderful since Friday. He has been in a prayer. And I appreciate the fact that, he flew 4 flights. Yes, 4 flights. To Nigeria. And he had, so there was no jet lag, but they had weather lag. Weather lag in terms of there was snow there, and then there's sunny here, so there was weather lag. So I appreciate him that he has been able to come around to make the occasion a very beautiful one. And the fact was also that he came to my house on Friday, was Saturday, to have a dinner, and we gave him it was jollof rice first. So he tasted jollof rice, and then on Sunday there was no food yet when we were coming. So I said, we don't have time to prepare food. Let's drink garri and nepa. So we took garri, and I was drinking garri. He came, he said, okay, no, that's it. So I thought they didn't push for this one garri. So I said, this is cassava flakes. So we took it and we ate it together, and and then we got to Ekiti. So we said, okay, fine. This is Ekiti. The main food there is the pounded yam. So so we entered the restaurant. Said, fine. So are we taking? He said, no, give me 1 pounded yam and egusi. He took pounded yam and egusi. So I really appreciate the fact that he accepted our culture, moving around, playing with children. He taught my children some maths, using paper on triangle and all that. So it was a very nice time, and I want to tell you that I want to bring it back to Nigeria. Now, Ivan is a big guy, so I'm very humble. He was one time the vice chancellor of the University of Vigo. He was, because handling things at national level and globally. He's a big guy. You are just seeing him he's a big guy in Europe. Big guy. So let's give him a round of applause. So we appreciate him for coming. I would like Professor Yedeji to make the presentation, not me this time around. Yeah.
On behalf of the International Center for Applied Mathematical Modeling, and on behalf of the participants here, we want to specially thank you for taking out the time to come here. Who are we, to invite you? But we thank you that you are able to come. In Dutch, ich habe gesagt, wunderschön, vielen Dank, aber ich kann nicht Spanish sprechen. I'm very sorry about that. I don't understand Spanish, but a little bit of Dutch. So thank you so much. So on behalf of the director and the center and the entire participants, I wish you to recognize you in our own little way with this award. Thank you so much.
Okay, Prof wants to say something.
This is out of maths because I have many lives. And when I was entering the room, I saw some musicians out there. Okay, traditional music. In 2007, long time ago now, it was a meeting in Bulgaria, in Sofia, Bulgaria. And you know where is the country, Bulgaria? Yes, in Europe. And there, it was written the convention of UNESCO. You know UNESCO. There is a convention for intangible cultural heritage. It's like this. No, intangible cultural heritage. In that meeting, there were 150 ambassadors. Ambassador of Nigeria, if you can imagine, yeah? And very few people writing that convention. I was there writing the convention for intangible cultural heritage. So I really appreciate this type of traditional music. So many thanks, because probably nobody knew about that.
All right, thank you so much. And then I think we are really going to be bringing the traditional dancers now. So just like so Ivan said, as noted, so actually they are brought specially for the occasion, and then they are going to be dancing before we run up the opening ceremony. All right, so let's have the traditional dancer come in and give their presentation. All right, enjoy as you watch.
Yes. No. Okay, yeah. Yes, I'm disconnected.
All right, while the dancers are getting set.
No. We're from
Okay, we have a very important figure in our